You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
And your soul together. This man will make your liver quiver.
What's good? You're to the Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man Kill. I got my squad with me. In effect, my brother Vern out the ATL. What's going on, good brother?
What's going on, everybody? Shout out. Gonna enjoy this episode, man. Therapeutic. Right. Yeah.
No doubt. My brother Gnu from Jersey. What's going on, brother?
Peace, everybody. I'm good, man. Ready to get into this De La Soul shit, man.
Yes, sir. My brother Rel out of Philadelphia. What's good, bro?
Peace. What's good, everybody?
Hey, we ain't gonna talk about last Sunday. We're just gonna keep it moving, good brother. Eddie, what's going on, fam?
Yo, man, I'm good, man. We got Vern out here looking like Plug 4. You know what I mean? It's really dope. Yeah.
All right. And like y'all know me. Let's jump right into it. Prayerfully, you've been rocking with us for a while. Every month to 2 months, depending on how it goes. We always want to do a salute show. It was always on the books to do a daylight show, but with the untimely passing of Dave, it kind of just expedited to like, let's do this now. And I feel bad because we should have done it before, you know what I mean? But, it is what it is. We try to get flowers as much as we can. One of my favorite Pusha T lines. If you ask me top 5 Pusha T lines, one of them is ran off on the plug too like Trugoy. You know what I mean? So just definitely R.I.P. to Dave. To me, one of the dopest slept on MCs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think a couple of weeks ago we did a show about standing in the shadows of people. And I don't know if Dave got mentioned, but I feel like he's in the shadows of Pasta News. Like Pasta News, when people just think lyrics is like Pasta and everything like that. So I feel like Dave kind of is in the background of Pasta, because Pasta is so dope. But to me, Dave is my personal favorite from Dave.
Mine too.
Like to me, it didn't even. You could say he's more Pasta, more lyrical. Me being a producer, I really don't care. It's just who I gravitate to more. So for me, it was Dave. So definitely. I was just getting back from Orlando and I'm landing and the messages started coming and, the DMs and all that. And it's just like, I damn sure wasn't ready for that.
Nah, bro.
Coming back from that. So, it's crazy. Definitely crazy. But tonight we are going to, salute Dave and Daylight. We're going to give them their flowers. We're going to talk. If you rock with us before you've seen the salute show, we're going to talk about when's the first time we heard Daylight, our favorite albums, slept on albums, their top 4 albums. What order do you have them in? Some of our favorite songs off Daylight. Again, I love the fact I have people who view the show who are younger than us or people who follow us. And I always want these shows to kind of be an easy roadmap for people to be able to get into somebody's music who they haven't heard. Because Daylight hasn't been on streaming services, a lot of people don't know Daylight's music like that. And with that coming up, we want to definitely give you an easy roadmap of, okay, OG, they got all these albums, all these songs. Where do I get started? Prayerfully after this show, you'll know where to get started. R&B Guru popping in. What's going on, good brother?
What's up, y'all?
What's up, Jay?
What's up?
What up?
All right. So let's get it going. The first time you heard De La Soul, for me, 88. I'm in 9th grade. We from Philly. I went to a school, Lincoln All Motivation, and I probably came home, turned on Rap City, and I can't remember if it was Plug Tune or the Potholes in My Lawn. I can't remember what video.
It would have been Plug Tuning if it was 88.
Okay, so Plug Tune, and I see the video, and I'm just like, yo, what is this? But it's dope. You know what I mean? Like, it's different, it's dope. And that was the dopest thing to me. One of the dopest things about hip hop back in those days. I'm one of the babies who's like, yo, the 80s was my golden era of hip hop. You know, I loved the 90s, but for me, it was the 80s. So I loved everybody being different. So you hear plug tuning, and then you follow that up with Potholes in My Lawn, and it was just like, yo, this is just dope. And then, of course, we get 3 Feet, and it kind of just goes from there. But I was hooked with De La from day one, from the second I heard it. I remember being on the phone with a shorty, and even she was rocking with it. Like, yo, this Potholes in My Lawn joint's kind of dope. Like, hell yeah, you know what I mean? So to me, that's when I first heard De La back in '88. And like I said, I was hooked from there. Vern, what about you? I know you're a De La fan. People can see right behind you is De La. You talk about De La all the time on the show. When is the first time you heard De La?
11, since going into 11, 88, and it was before the videos. It was we used to listen to a college spot, Georgia State, 88.5, and I heard, I don't remember if it was Plug Tuning or Jennifer Taught Me, but I'm like, yo, this is different. I mean, because you got to think about what was out during that time frame. We're in the NWA down south. We're in the 2 Live Crew, and I'm like, oh, these dudes are different. They're like us. So that's when I first heard them, and I was hooked from day one. Before the album came out, and I mean, then when Potholes in My Lawn came out, it was over. Because Potholes in My Lawn did something else for me. Like, I had never been to New York. So to see everything I knew about New York was, Queensbridge, projects and all this stuff. Like, these, they got yards in New York, So that was a whole different understanding of New York to me. So I would say 88 is when I first heard of them.
All right, good news. What about you, good brother?
Man, the first time I heard De La Soul, first time I didn't hear them on. I don't think I heard them first. I think the first time I saw them was on Video Music Box played Potholes in My Lawn, and I was maybe in like 10th grade. And I just remember like seeing Dove. And the way that he had his hair cut, because it was like he had like a Gumby, but he had like little dreads in it, and seeing Pasta Noose, and I remember looking at them like, wow, like these dudes look kind of weird, but I'm looking at Pasta Noose and he kind of looked like me at the time because I had the glasses, I had the flat top and shit, so I immediately identified with the niggas, and then when I'm hearing the beat. And I'm listening to their rhymes, and I was like, "Yo, I ain't never heard this style before." Like, saying at the time, it was so different. It was so like I had never seen this. And then the video looked like it was like black and white. I mean, it was kind of like grimy, grungy looking. So it was like, man, like, yo, is this new or is this shit from? Where is this shit coming from? But yeah. So it's like 88, 10th grade, and Potholes in My Lawn. It blew my mind, you know what I mean?
I feel you. Bro, what about you, bro?
Yeah, mine was similar to the news. Like, Potholes in My Lawn, I saw the video. And I, 88, I was a young boy, so I basically, like, listened to what my older cousins listened to, you know what I'm saying? And we just sitting around, and the video came on. It was just like, I remember just like, yo, this is different, you know what I'm saying? This is not what I'm used to seeing, you know what I mean? And the haircut, that stuck out to me too. Like his haircut with the, you know what I mean? That stuck out to me as well, but it was kind of just like refreshing for me, you know what I'm saying? And like, you're probably gonna hear me say that probably like a lot during this show, the word refreshing, because just the way their style was just that, like, you know what I'm saying? It was something I wasn't hearing, but it was different. It was dope. It was good to hear. You know what I'm saying? So I saw Potholes in My Lawn. I was, being so young, I didn't really understand what was going on, man. I just was like, yo, this is different. And then I started to see more videos and stuff like that. And then that's how I really, really got into them. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it was for me.
The dope thing that I love is just everybody saying it was different, and that being a beautiful thing at the time in '88, that you could be different. you know, because we're living in a time with me where a lot of hip hop now all sounds alike, you know, and I ain't just talking about the drill rap, I ain't just talking about the young boys rap, I'm talking about these drumless beats, you know, just all sounds alike, everybody sounding the same. So it's just, that's why I loved 88 in that time period, because the whole goal was to be different, you know, and I don't know where it flipped to just, well, I get it, it's the money and everything like that, but you know, it just was so dope to just be different. And you know, that's just what people don't do anymore. Eddie, what about you? The first time you heard De La?
So I'll be honest, I was young, so probably first time was Me, Myself, and I, right? So I think that dropped in '89. So I mean, obviously it was everywhere. So I must have been like 3rd or 4th grade, right? 9 years old. So yeah, man. Damn, I mean,
we old, man. We you and Gnu, we at the top. We old as shit, man.
Yeah. Hey, bro. The goal is to get as old as possible.
Oh, no, there's no knock on getting old, man. I enjoy it.
But you know, it was fun. You know, it's just fun music, and you know, the nice thing about it is now I could listen back. Right, it's later, right? So yeah, it ages well when you're an adult, right?
Yeah.
And now also, like my son, he's 8 now. Now he's listening to De La, so we love him.
Full circle.
That's dope. JR, what about you, bro? You had to be 2 when it came. We just going down the age group. Like I was this, you know, JR, like I wasn't born yet, but
actually it was the Buddy remix actually when I got onto them, because my mother's favorite song is Tanya Gardner's Heartbeat. So she loved that record, and she loved the sample that they used of it, and she loved Queen Latifah. So she knew she was in it, and I just remember her playing it a lot, not knowing that a lot of these songs I heard, but I didn't know it was De La.
Yeah.
Until once I started listening to I'm like, oh shit, Pop used to play this. But yeah, I got onto them, the Buddy, and then the Buddy video and all that, and then after that, then I was on. But my first time was the Buddy remix.
All right, no doubt. Let's talk about De La's dopest album, or your favorite album, what you feel is their dopest favorite, however you want to freak it. And then a slept on album. My dopest album for me is De La Soul Is Dead. You know what I mean? This dropped, JR. Would you think it was
okay?
Would you think it was gonna be?
No, I thought it was gonna be, because I know y'all do. I know y'all talk about it, but I don't see a lot of people like really discussing it like that. So I thought it would be a slept on, because I love it too, but I don't see like a lot of people but y'all talking about it.
You know, the bittersweet thing about that is because a lot of people don't talk about it because they don't even have access to it or know about it, and that's about to change.
That's true.
Yeah. And I mean, for me, this album, this is 91. At that time, bro, I wasn't staying with my moms. I was kind of bouncing couch to couch. I'm still in high school, you know what I mean? But I dipped for a minute and was kind of hanging with some older dread dudes and stuff like that, and couch hopping. So this joint just spoke to me during that time. And I mean, there's so many. I mean, I absolutely love this album. I mean, I think, you know, De La, we'll see by the end of the show, I feel like De La is reminiscent, well, not reminiscent because they were before Outkast, but they remind me of Cast, where anytime I'm talking with somebody about De La, everybody has different favorite albums. You know, there's really not a, you know, everybody's like, oh, it's this, like, it kind of can fluctuate. So, you know, to just break down why, you know, this was so dope to me. I mean, I remember my man, Cool DJ Frank, was the neighborhood DJ in my neighborhood, and he was like, yo, I got that new De La single. So came to the crib and he put on hey, the ring 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 joint. And Peach the President just always got me. Like, all you got back in those days, I mean, hell, to this day, you play of Peach the President, I'm in. Like, you've got to be a horrible fucking producer to fuck up impeach the president. Like it's damn near flawless as is. And then the sample, I mean, just the whole concept. I got an answer machine now to talk to you. I mean, just everything about the song was just crazy. So Daylight is Dead is my favorite. Slept on album is Balloon Mind State. 93. I give it a strong 4 mics, and I just think hip hop, I don't want to say it was changing, but I mean, keeping in mind in 93, you had Wu-Tang, you had Midnight, you had KRS Return to Boom Bap, you had Black Moon, you had Snoop, you had Heavy D's Blue Funk, you know, so when you kind of come with those type of heavy hitters, you know, Balloon Mind State probably is going to come in as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They come in 5th, 6th place, you know what I mean? But I feel like it was a very dope album. I loved it. Single Break of Dawn, Ego Tripping, I MIB, you know, In the Woods was just crazy. And a lot of people don't know about, they had a 12-inch EP called Clear Lake Auditorium, which was a 12-inch on clear vinyl, and it had a bonus song called She Fee MCs featuring Tribe Called Quest, which was crazy.
You teaching me something.
Yeah, Shock females. Yeah, shocking females, yo. Dope, very dope joint. It's called Clear Lake Auditorium is the EP. I'll send it to y'all after the show. And the name of the song is She Fe So it's like SHEFEMC. And it's a posse joint with Tribe, which is real dope. Yeah, real dope. Again, Tribe Called Quest in 93 and Daylight 93. And the beat's crazy, so there you go. Vern, what is your favorite or dopest and then a slept on Daylight album?
What is my favorite child? Let me see. Because that's what you're asking me to do. All right, I'm gonna go with Stakes. Stakes is High was at a very pivotal time in hip hop. You know, it was during the Jiggy era. I mean, and that's why I'm gonna save that for when I talk about one of my favorite Dave verses. But you know, you had I think that was my introduction to Mos Def on Big Brother Beat.
Big Brother Beat, yeah.
Once again was Pas's solo on that album, and he killed it. And then I think I read a story that Pas said Q-Tip and them was like, yo, we heard It's So Easy and that mug is incredible. And Pas was like, I gotta get in the lab for my solo on this joint. And he came out with once again Long Island, Sunshine I love, Long Island Degrees I love. But I think my favorite song maybe on that album is Pony Ride. That song is just stupid. With Truthy No Lie and Posse Dave, man, it is so dope. So that's, I would say today, right now, it's 928. My favorite is Stakes, and then Slept On. I'm gonna say Grind Day, because I think in a lot of people's mind, De La was forgotten by that time. That album is incredible. I'm talking about. It starts off with I want to say JR, is that Switch? We are sending you this message. I think that's Switch.
Yeah, that's Switch.
The sample, and much more with Yummy Bingham.
Right. Much more.
Yeah.
All I gotta do is say J Dilla.
Much more.
Yeah. And they sampled that Jeffrey Osborne. I mean, who the LTD? What we have is much more than they can see. Yeah.
Love Ballad, what?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you gotta hear that, bro.
You gotta hear that,
bro.
Y'all know it. Come on,
bro.
That's all.
Here's the thing. What I'm saying. Here's the thing, JR. Produced by J Dilla, sampling Love Ballad, Primo talking in the beginning to set it off. Oh, bro.
Yeah,
I could listen much more, man.
I ain't even hear it, so it's cool.
Yeah, and Yummy Bingham blessed the track too. Of course, the title track, The Grind Date. I love Yummy Bingham and Butter verses on No. Never. She sung Never Can Say Goodbye. Killed it, man. Rock Cocaine Flow. You already know, man. I mean,
you ain't gotta talk about
it. First time I heard that.
Yeah, mind blown. Like, I'm like, what
yeah.
are they doing? And then verbal clap. I'm gonna talk about Dave's first one. That
was Dilla too, right?
Yeah, that's Dilla too.
Crazy. I mean, it had guest appearance by Flav and Ghostface. And the funny thing, I saw them. Yeah, I saw them. When this album came out, they were in concert. Slum Village opened for them.
Really?
This was my first time going to a concert as an adult. Nigga, we got home at like 3 in the morning. I had to go to work the next day, man. I was dead man walking because we was up the whole time. So Grind Day is what I would say is slept on.
Man, I feel you. One of the dopest things to me, man. I've always loved dope album covers, dope concepts.
Yeah.
The Grind Day, when you open it up, is basically a calendar for the year. And, you know, it's just dope to kind of see, like, you know what I mean? Like, they've got stuff written in, like, oh, we got a show in North Carolina, show in Brooklyn, Dave Chappelle show. So just to be able to go through the whole album and kind of just, you know, I've always wondered, like, damn, what do a rapper's life look like? You know what I mean? And it was like, yo, you got to just go through the whole joint. So I thought it was just a very dope concept. Very, very dope album. And Vern, when you talk about the Grind Day, the title cut, I love Bonds Malone's, man.
Yeah,
like his commentary, like, yo, my pop don't like driving a bus, but he likes 5 kids.
So he loves
you know what I mean?
Kids.
Like,
so you gotta get up and go.
Like that's what you gotta do. My pop don't like driving the bus, but he got 5 kids, you know, so you just gotta grind at it, man. So just very dope album. Good news. What about you, good brother?
Yeah, so we talking about albums and songs, or just the albums?
Just the albums for right now.
All right, because all right, so my #1 favorite De La album is De La Soul Is Dead, yo. I ain't gonna talk about none of the records, but yeah, like from front to back, that album just. So like, yeah, you know, just to piggyback off Kill, it came out in '91, man. So I always say, like, during that time I was in high school, like '91, I graduated high school. So all, like senior year, like I remember hearing Peace Porridge. I think that was like the first song I heard off the on the radio, like this local college station was playing it. And I remember walking down to the record store, Ace Records, like I was going around and like, yo, you got the new De La album, you got the new De La Soul album. I didn't know what it was called, I didn't know when it was dropping, but I just heard Peace Porridge and I was like, yo, they coming with some shit. So De La Soul Is Dead is my favorite album. My most slept on album, I would really say all of them, but since Vern said Grind Day, I'll go with Artificial Intelligence.
That was my second choice. Which one though? Which one is 2?
Yeah, now boom. There's a part. How many was in that? It's 3 of them or 2 of them?
I want to say it's 2 that I know of.
So
Mosaic song.
But 2, honestly, I never even heard 2. So yeah, I guess 2 would probably be the most slept on. I don't even know what 2 sound like. I think they had that fat
Baby Fat is on the
on there.
That's Bionics, yeah.
That's probably the only joint I know off that year. So I would say AI 2 is the most slept on, because I ain't never even heard the shit.
Hey, bro, get it in your life, because
when they come out, you know, when they drop everything, I'm like, I'm taking all of them shit in again.
Arguably, to me, one of the best songs De La Soul has ever done is on that album, Trying People. We'll get to that too. Oh yeah.
The thing I love about Gnu, man, the story when we talk about going to the record store to buy albums. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that played a part in how much, at least for me, how much I love the album. You know what I mean? Because each album has a different story. You know, I tell these young people out here, you know, we couldn't just jump on at midnight, you know what I mean, and have the album, you know, because we got Apple Music, because we got Tidal. You know what I mean? Most of the time, if it wasn't in my local record store at Cheltenham Mall, I had to get on a bus. So I'm either going to downtown Philly to Funkelmar, I'm going to Germantown to Sound of Germantown. And any two of those places, I'm putting my life at risk. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, number one, that's why Ralph's from Philly. That's why he's shaking his head. He understands, like, so this is what we would do. Like you said, you go to a record store, like, yo, you got the new Daylight. Like, you don't know when it's dropping. You ain't got a release date. You just heard something on the radio. You just going like, damn, you know, do you have it yet? So I also love that feeling of just going to a record store and seeing, oh shit, here's a new Heavy D album. I ain't even know it dropped. You know what I mean? Because before the Source, we didn't even have record release dates.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you didn't even know. You could just happen to go in a record store one day and just come up on something, not even knowing it dropped and not even knowing something was out or whatever like that. And to me, that's just, again, that's just part of like loving the music so much, and it's almost taking a piece of it away, almost. Yeah. Because this generation, even if they wanted to, you can't go nowhere to buy the music. You know, most people don't have physicals. You know what I mean? So the most you can really get is a download. So it's taking away, even me as a producer, when people try to give me records, I'm like, nah, nigga, half of the fun of this, for me at least, is going digging. It's when somebody asks me, yo, Kill, how you make that beat? Oh, yo, I was digging with JR and we was in Baltimore and we was doing it. Like, a story comes with it, you know? Yeah. So that's why, like, you know, it's just all of this stuff to me just plays into how much I think our generation loves music. Not saying this younger generation doesn't, but we just love it in a different way because we had to put in work to get this music. You know what I mean? We had to put in some serious work. Rel, what you got for Daylight with the albums?
All right, so my favorite is Stakes is High, and so like I'm a defiant person by nature. So if I believe in something or I like something or something, I'm going, you know, there's nothing you're going to be able to tell me that's going to sway me the other way and all that. I think that album was just defiant based on what was going on in the music. In music at the time, and they were not wavering from, you know, wavering from what they wanted to put out. That's why I love that album so much. Like, what was going on, that was not the norm of what was coming out at that time when Stakes is High dropped.
Yeah, no offense to a player, but I don't play, and if you take offense, it got to be that way.
It got to be that way. You know what I mean? Right. So that was the joint with Common. Was it the business? The business, yeah.
Oh,
man, they went crazy on that.
Yes.
The joint dinner that was crazy.
Yeah.
I like that record. I love that joint.
It just makes you smile, man.
Yeah. Exactly. Like that album. That's one of my favorite albums. Period. Like I love that album. Like. I feel like it aged really well. You know what I'm saying? Like when I play it now, it don't sound dated. It aged really well. Yeah.
Had your girl Johnny on that mug.
Johnny, right. So slept on. I'm gonna go with Daylight Soul is Dead. Cause I just know, like, when it was out and I was coming up, like, I didn't hear it talked about as much as it should have been. Like hearing it as an adult, I'm like, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't in my circle, and you know, what my older cousins listened to is what I would get in, and I didn't hear it as much. But that's another album that really aged well. Like when you listen to it now, that John, what's the John? Saturday.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah. Benny and Mohica, baby.
That's my heartbeat, man.
Hey, have you heard the remix with Drez and Fife? Got the Woody Woodpecker. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that album is dope, man. Like, and I feel like it, like the new was saying, all of them. Like, you can kind of say, like, they don't get, they get it from us, but I feel like they don't get the respect that and we'll talk about that later when you talk about where they fit, the top groups and all that. But you can say it's crazy. We all done said almost different albums are our favorite and slept on.
And none of us is wrong.
Right, and that's a testament to how dope they are. You know what I'm saying? That's all that is.
No doubt. Eddie, what you got, good brother?
For in my opinion, the dopest. My favorite is Stakes is High. But you know, like we all going with different albums. I just think it's just such a dope, consistent album. Like from the start, like you know the super MCs, you know, going throughout. Like it just hits hard. You know what I mean? You know, the joint Common, Long Island Degrees, all that, right? Once you get to It's So Easy, right? Like the title track is crazy. You know, the features were nuts on that. So yeah, man, I think it's definitely aged well, as well. I would say Slept On. It's a De La album that I didn't really listen to much, like when it came out, but you know, later on, like the more recent years, like you know, I've been going back to it a lot. Is Balloon Mind State, you know, really, you know, really dope album, and like Kill said, maybe it was like when it dropped and you know, competing, and you know, I think the sound was also consistent. Like they had a lot of good joints, like the Break of Dawn joint, you know what I mean? That sample, obviously, like the way they flipped that. Just real solid joint, man.
All right, no doubt. JR, what about you, bro?
This was hard because it's like 3 Feet for me is like, that's how I was really introduced to them, and I love that album too. But Stakes is when I got into them for myself rather than for mom and dad. So it's kind of hard for me to pick between the two, because Stakes for me is when I was just like, whoa. Because it's crazy that I had to actually put my pops that Stakes was out. He didn't know. So for that, and when I got my headphones, and I just remember just listening, and like y'all said, Super MCs came in, and it was just like, what the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? Because everybody else, the environment wasn't the same. Everybody was putting out different stuff, but they was keeping it straight to what I loved about them from 3 Feet and De La Soul Is Dead. So it was like, but it sounded fresh and new, but it was so different. You know what I mean? So I mean, like y'all said, all the something Big Brother beat is, and then another one is Down Syndrome with Dave go back and forth the way. Listen, so yeah, it was kind of hard, but yeah, though I'm gonna have to go with Stakes, but it's like 3 Feet is right there, so that was tough for me. But Slept On album, I was gonna say De La Soul Is Dead because I don't see a lot of people talking about it at all. So it was like, I hear y'all because we've done so many episodes about it. I know y'all do, but I was like, I didn't hear it. And I had a question to ask y'all about this too, because I was reading this review a couple of months ago, and somebody said that they actually sounded a little angry. Do y'all agree with that?
On Stakes is High?
No.
De La Soul Is Dead. Yeah. They were angry because they got pigeonholed as these hippie, flower power loving dudes. And I know cats that know their manager and stuff. Some niggas could throw Jones, man. I mean, they wasn't no punks, man. Right. And they were upset about that. I mean, if I don't know if you've heard this, like on Me, Myself, and I, there were times after they hit, when they performed it, they were like, I hate this song, I hate this song, I hate this song, because that's all the media wanted to push them towards. So De La Soul Is Dead was like, that flower power hippie stuff is dead, and so they were. They even had the guy, and what was the hippie dude from MTV back then? In the video, like further pushing the shit, like you know what I mean?
This was true when they was on Arsenio Hall, and that's why we got the line that Arsenio dissed us, but the crowd still
clapping.
So I didn't know went with it. I just, I'm asking.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Dante Ross was talking about that on that podcast he did. Like I forgot the name of the podcast, but it was like a whole season on Dante Ross, and he was talking about it. And essentially, it was like they came up with this whole concept how to market the group, and you know the group went along with it. We're like, yo, if this is gonna help us sell records, if this is gonna put us on, yo, we with it. But after a while, you know, it was like, okay, you know, this ain't us, right? This ain't all that we are, right? It's like y'all running with it a little bit too much, which is why the daisies, you know, were dead on the cover, right? The end of that whole daisy age hippie stuff. And you know, like obviously the content of the songs, like the joint, like Millie pulled the piston on Santa, right? Obviously, you know, they were going a different direction there.
Oh, thank y'all.
Yeah. The funny thing about Stakes is High, since so many people named it, it's funny to me because later on in life, you see, I always say that there was a split in hip hop around 96, you know, and it felt like it was us versus them, you know, the Backpackers. It got real. That Jay-Z Hard Knock Life album really was the first time we knew on Morgan's campus that I felt like there was a split. Like any other time something dropped, we all loved everything. We all loved everything. That Hard Knock Life drop, I'll never forget. Me, Bezo, and Shaw was like, that's whack. Roots was like, nah, this is where hip hop is going. And it was this split down the middle. And it's funny because I know a lot of dudes who never heard Stakes is High. Wow. Because it was De La and J. Rue versus everybody. You know how you see them shirts, Philly versus everybody, and it was J. Rue and De La versus everybody. You know what I mean? Because they were the only two who were really talking that was dissing what the whole industry was doing at that time. So you have a lot of people who are like, yo, I know people who heads, not just casuals, who like were really on that champagne shit and was like, I never heard De La. I know other dudes who was like, yo, who was on that De La shit that was like, yo, I never heard Life After Death because I was boycotting that shit because I was over here with De La and J. Rue like, fuck that shit. So it's just so crazy. Like, you know, me and Rel always talk about how we were so invested in Big and East Coast hip hop during that war. Like, we wasn't even listening to pop. You know what I mean? But this is how much people really get into hip hop that it was like, nah, nigga, you dissing my coach? Fuck, I look like listening to you. You know what I mean? And the same thing with this. So it's just so funny because a lot of people have not heard Stakes is High because they kind of were boycotting De La. Like, you hate, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and that was the trick pulled by Puff. Like, it was like, okay, you hating because you broke. And it was like, oh, we don't want to be broke, so we ain't hating. So, yeah, Puff, we like you. Like, yeah, you know, it's the greatest trick played by the devil ever done. And y'all motherfuckers out there fell for that shit.
Hey, Rel, to point out what you said about being defiant, too. Then Dave said, Stakes is high as the sky. I got questions about your life if you so ready to die. They took that as a direct attack on Big.
They took a I
mean, it's a dope bar. That's a dope bar right there.
Wow, that's a dope ass bar. Like that was a dope ass bar. But you know what I'm saying? De La was coming at that shit like sick of Versace, sick of.
But I mean, I think it was too because if that went so much against what the culture was, you know what I mean? And again, Gnu, you may remember this. You know, I was on my people's podcast, Where's Buffy, last week, and we were talking about like hip hop versus rap. We were talking about the whole Grammys thing, and I was like, yo, I was cool up to a certain point. Then I started seeing these other little Uzi and little motherfuckers, and I'm like, whoa, slow down on that shit, my nigga.
Yeah,
you know,
I cut it off.
And for me, doing strictly hip hop at Morgan, it was a very clear cut lane because on Fridays from midnight to 5 a.m. was my show, Strictly Hip Hop. Then on Saturday nights from 7 to 9 was 92Q, which was the commercial radio station. They had a show called Rap Attack. And Strictly Hip Hop and Rap Attack, we didn't play the same music.
No.
We played totally different music. Like, one of my homeboys, Cool DJ Frank, what I was talking about, he did a mix for us one time, and he played Dr. Dre, Keep the Head Ringing. I was like, oh, take that shit off. Like, nigga, we don't play that shit.
Yeah.
Goddamn,
Right,
Dr.
right.
Dre, Keep the Head Ringing, Keep the Heads Ringing. The fuck wrong with you, nigga? That's Rap Attack. So for me, it's like a very clear distinction of when people say, like KRS had the song, hip hop versus rap. Rap is something you do, hip hop is something you live. So I think Dave and them were just so like, yo, y'all are trashing the industry. Like y'all are, you know, you're selling, you know, you're selling sex, you're selling, you know, Versace, you're making all this materialism. You know, this is where we talk about when we talk about the dopest cars in hip hop. And you look in the 80s and you know, niggas is driving Jettas and Pathfinders. Now all of a sudden you driving Benzes and Lambo trucks and all of that. You know what I mean? I always tell people, 92, Paris says still I haven't seen one rapper living comfortable. Fast forward 4 years, now you got MTV Cribs. You got, you know, boom boom rooms and stripper poles and all kinds of stuff, you know. So I think De La just was, like Darrell said, being defiant, but also defending what you love. You know, and sometimes when you defend what you love, you're tagged as a hater. You know, oh, you're just mad because, you know, I think Foxy says something like, I ain't responding to J. Rue until he sell 1 million records or something like that, something to that extent. Like, he don't even deserve a response. Like, you got these broke niggas. Like, nigga, I got money and you gonna listen to these broke niggas? And again, y'all fell for that shit.
Everybody fell for
at home. Y'all fell for that shit. You know what I mean? Instead of just being like, nah, that shit whack. Like, I don't care, call me a hater. But neither here nor there. So that's one of the things I always applaud De La and J. Rue for, because it kind of was just like, this is what we're gonna stand. You know, and here's the thing. At the end of the day, guess what? De La is still relevant to this day. You know, Foxy, I haven't seen Foxy in years. De La on Cartoon Network with Teen Titans. Anybody seen any of them groups with Puff? So what I'm saying is sometimes in life you have to stand on what you believe is right. Maybe at that time you may not, you know, it may not look like you winning, but at the end of the day, those people who they were dissing, you know, 90% of them ain't around no more. You know what I mean? Where De La is still, I'm gonna get to you at, and De La is still here, you know, and doing that. So I just want young people to remember, like, it's sometimes gonna be hard to stand on what you believe, you know, but understand, to me, when you stand on what you believe in, you can never be wrong. Never. You know, so just think about that. Ed, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, another point of that whole era is that, you know what I mean, it wasn't just like De La saying, well, I'm not feeling what you're doing, because someone could be like, oh, well, you just make your music, they make their music, but you gotta understand, like, how the industry, right? You look at after that, what the labels were pushing, right? If you look at how many albums did not drop due to, okay, well, we can't release this album, right? This ain't what's selling right now, right? Because the industry has shifted towards all of those things that De La was talking against, all the things that the Roots were talking against, and all them, right? J. Rue, you know, it was all the materialism, it was all the party, the quote-unquote shiny suit, whatever that was. You know what I mean? If you weren't making music like that, you're probably in danger of your album not getting released, or maybe getting dropped from the label. So it was real life consequences for that. Most definitely.
Right. And two, I forgot one song that was on that Clear Lake Auditorium that I want to shout out. It's called Sticks and Stones. And the thing that was dope about this joint was it had Tito from the Fearless Four. It had Kaz. It had Whipple Whip, who I had to look this up, the first Latino rapper. It had L.A. Sunshine from the Treacherous Three, and Superstar, who was from this crew called Horror City Crew that was out of Amityville. So it's a very old school song too that's also on that EP. I mean, they got, like I said, Tito from the Fearless Four, L.A. Sunshine from the Treacherous Three. So very dope joint on that. Let's look at our top 4 De La albums in order. I got De La Soul Is Dead, 3 Feet High and Rising, Grind Date, and Balloon Mind State. My top 3 songs off of De La Soul Is Dead, Ring Ring Ring. To me, one of the most important hip-hop songs ever, Millie Pulled a Pistol on Santa Claus, and Biddies in the BK Lounge.
Oh!
Biddies.
That's my shit, yo. 3 different beats.
Bruh.
Switch up.
God.
Man.
Ridiculous.
Off of 3 Feet High, Say No Go. I love Say No Go to this day. God knows I love Say No Go.
All the notes. That's that.
I know
that sample. Crazy.
And I Know I Love You Better.
I know.
And Potholes. On Grind Day is Much More. The title cut Grind Day and Rock Cocaine Flow. And on Balloon is Break of Dawn, In the Woods, and Ego Trip. So those are my top 4. Vern, what are your top 4 De La albums in order? Top 3 songs off of each one. Now I'm sure sometimes you're gonna multiply this into your top 8.
No, I'm not gonna be defiant tonight. All right, I'm gonna go. Man, this is hard. This is why De La Soul is my favorite group. I used to wrestle between them and Tribe, but when I gotta wrestle between 6 albums to pick 3, that does it. But anyway, I'm gonna go Stakes first, Grind Day 2, Balloon 3, and 3 Feet High 4.
Yo, I'm all holding, bro. I'm shocked 3 Feet comes in so far with you. Like, I really thought 3 Feet would have been your number 1.
You know, real. I mean, Neltron thought that too, because he about to bless me with something. I understand the importance of 3 Feet High and Rising, but sonically and lyrically, that later album destroy 3 Feet High and Rising. I mean, it's kind of like when you get in high school, you was like, I'm the man, but you in the 9th grade though. But when you get, junior, senior, and that's how the progression of albums. So for Stakes, I'm gonna go Pony Ride, It's So Easy, and once again Long Island. I mean, I could have picked 7 other songs, but I'm gonna just get those 3. Grind Date, The Future. I love how that sparks off the album. Much More, and I'm gonna go Cocaine Flow. Balloon My Estate. I Am I Be is one of my top 5 De La Soul songs ever. It is one of the most mature, honest rap songs ever. Break of Dawn, and I'm gonna go In Focus. And then for 3 Feet, Buddy. I like the original Buddy better than I do the remix.
Oh wow! Okay.
This is because this is the first time I heard. I ain't heard no song about that, and then that bass line is just so entrancing. So I'm gonna go Buddy. I'm gonna go Jennifer, because everybody would say the other one. Okay, this time I'm gonna do 4. I'm Jodeci on this one. All right, Buddy, Jennifer, Potholes, and then my sleeper is the Daisy Age. I love that beat.
Amityville, Resident.
Yeah, man. And the cadences that they how they rap.
Yes,
it's crazy, man. I mean, I'm gonna stop because I'll be here all night. I love that.
I feel you.
All right, Canoe, what about you, man? Top 4 albums and 3 songs.
My gosh. All right, so my top 4, number 1, as I said, De La Soul is Dead. That's like my all-time favorite album by them, man. It's so many joints on there that I love that I just like, man. I loved them when they dropped 3 Feet High and Rise, but when they made De La Soul is Dead, that's when I really was like, yo, these guys are really fucking like speaking to me, man. I just related to these dudes, man, because like I was never like the athletic dude, and I wasn't like the hardcore, street dude. So it was like when these dudes came out, it was like, yo, cats that aren't into that kind of shit, these niggas is cool too. These niggas is smart people, but the nerds is they never get the respect, man, until like later on, like, cause like what you were saying, how their music is better, it still ages with time. Like, these guys are still relevant, they're still around, but all that other shit ain't around no more. But anyway.
Let me ask you a question. With you saying that, do you feel like, because I feel like with me, like 3 Feet was dope, I fucked with them, but De La Soul's Dead when I became a fan.
Yeah.
It's like people's instinct. It's like people.
Okay. Because I think with me, like sometimes I say that to people, like I like people's instinct. I'm like, it's cool, Bonita is dope, you know what I mean? But when I heard Check the Rhyme, that's when and for me, it's not that I didn't like it. See, people here like, Kill, you wasn't a fan and you didn't fuck with it. That doesn't mean I didn't mess with it. It just, when I think about I'm a fan, like I'm a hype, I'm excited for when the next thing is really coming. You know what I mean? So when I, ended off on Can I Kick It, the remix, it was cool, but when I heard Check the Rhyme, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Like, same thing with the Roots. I thought Do You Want More was cool, but when I heard Illadelph, that's why I was like, nah, I'm a fan. Like, I hard body fuck with these niggas, like that. Like, I'm a fan. So I was just asking because I didn't know, like, maybe if that was it. But like you said, you still were a fan from 3 Feet.
Yeah, I was already sold because, when 3 Feet High came out, they was on MTV. They were everywhere. So, like, I'm seeing interviews, I'm seeing them perform, and like they were like fully blown at that time. So like I said, when De La Is Dead came out, I was just like, oh my God. But favorite songs off there, to name a few, my number one probably favorite on there is Oodles of O's.
That's a dope joint.
Like, I mean, from the time the shit come on with the needle popping, like from that point, it's like, damn. And then they rhyme it like at the end of every phrase. There's a man. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, this shit was so crazy. They had the Bismarck in the background. Nobody beats the Biz in the. It was like, that song is just. It's so many layers to it, and that's another thing that I love about them. It's always so many layers and shit they saying in the background, and like their shit is just so full and just so complete, man. But anyway. Another favorite song I love off there is Saturdays. I can remember like freshman year in college, man, like we just playing the remix, man, with Fife and Drez, and I'm just playing that shit. I made niggas in my dorm so tired of Saturdays that they wish that they would have came with a song called Sundays. You know what I mean? That was my joint. Damn, man, there's so many joints, but Pass the Plugs I would say is another song because listening to the verse that Dave kicks on that song, he says so much, and as I'm listening, like he said shit like native is the new, like balance is the shoe. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like New Balance. I'm fucking with New Balances now. But at the end of the rhyme, he says something about then disappear with the hocus pocus. That just made me think like, wow, like I mean, he made this shit 30 years ago, but that was like his exodus, like, you know what I mean, on that verse, man, like, because he passed, man. So yeah, so that's my top 3 off De La Is Dead. My number 2 favorite album by them is Stakes Is High. Another album that just like it's just so much shit on there. I love my number 1 song on there is the intro. Channeling, insane. That shit, I'm like, yo, that shit is crazy. And then Dave comes on there and he's like, nah, he's like spazzing out on the shit. I'm like, yo, these dudes are fucking crazy. Like I love that because it's so them, like they're so like being themselves. Like, nobody does that. Like that's like, that's why I love them dudes, man. Another joint on Stakes Is High that I love is Pan and Ant. You know what I mean? Like that's like
where the party at.
That's my shit. Like the West Coast kids that be throwing up signs, I hate a Buster, unless his name is Buster Rhymes.
That's so damn, yo!
Yeah, I'm glad you called me to do this
man.
Show.
Dog, I know how much you rock with the native tongues. I'm gonna get the right people on. If I'm doing a solution, trust and believe, I'm gonna get the right people.
You talking,
bro? You making me cry over here, man. God,
right now.
And another joint, my last joint up there, It's So Easy.
Yeah, man.
That was, like you said, that was big solo joint. Also, once again, that was that was my shit too. But It's So Easy in the video, y'all. Come on, man.
Everybody was in it. Lord of the Underground.
Cameos.
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Like everybody is in that video, man. And they put it in like a high school setting, and it's like a food fight in the cafeteria. It's just so youthful, man. It's just so youthful. It's just so De La, man. You know what I mean?
That's it, bro. That's it.
And is that 3 for me?
That's 3.
Off Stakes Is High. All right, so boom. My number 3 album is 3 Feet High and Rising. That's the first album that we got from them, and that just made me fall in love with them. I can remember being on the bus, riding home and playing plug tuning. You know what I mean? Daisy Age. I don't know if y'all remember, man, but Me, Myself, and I had a remix. Do y'all remember Me, Myself, and I remix? It had a different beat to it.
With the flute?
With the Dr. Buzzard in there, the piano.
Nah, I don't remember that joint.
I mean, I hope when they re-release their shit that they put the Me, Myself, and I remix with the Dr. Buzzard sample on me. That was like, man, that's my favorite. That's one of my joints on there. Potholes in My Lawn. Jennifer Taught Me.
Yeah.
I even like the song Description. I am plug 1. I'm 19. Like the masters of like this. Like I don't even know what that style is, man.
Man,
it was their own style.
That cadence,
the cadence was stupid, bro. They got 1 million of them too.
Yo, so many. All right, so 3 Feet's my number 3. My number 4 is Balloon Mind State. Very slept on album. Favorite song on there, I love that song, In Focus.
Your feedback. It goes.
yeah. That's hard. Area codes. Ego Tripping Part 2. That's my favorite De La song of like all time. Like that is like my number 1 favorite De La song. Funny story about that song. I saw an interview with them, and they were talking about that. But Ego Tripping is, if y'all know, Ultramagnetic came with Ego Tripping. So I believe that's part 2 of Ultramagnetic, because Mace was saying in an interview how they were huge Ultramagnetic fans. So I might be making that up.
No. We're gonna talk about that later, but that's a good pull.
Okay. All right, so boom. Then Stone Age with Biz Markie.
So what you mean, Biz Markie? What you mean, Biz Markie?
Yeah, that's banging. And if I could add a 4th one in there, remember the song remember the joint that had the Asian dudes on there?
Yo, chill out, bro. Chill out. This cancel culture. You can't do that shit no more, man.
I'm just quoting what they said.
I know you quoting them, but bro, we gotta be careful. It's cancel culture out here. You can't do that shit no more, man. Can't be y'all think I'm fucking around. Let me say the wrong thing around Naomi. She's like Asian daddy. It's not Chinese. I'm like, okay, this ain't cancel culture.
Right, but that song. But yeah, man, that's my count, man, for De La album,
man. All right, bro, what you got for your top 4?
So my number 1 is Stakes Is High. My favorite songs is The Business, with Common, Dynamite, and the title track, Stakes Is High. They were talking some shit on that title. like for real. Like it's so much substance in the lyrics of that song. Like they were talking shit on that song, man. Like for real. And it was unapologetic. You know what I mean? Like that's why it's my favorite. Like it fits my personality, you know what I'm saying? I love it. It's one of my favorite songs favorite albums of all time. But that particular song, that single, they was talking heavy. Wasn't scared. They was talking heavy. So Stakes Is High is my number 1. My number, man.
I know it's hard, brother. Pause.
I would say now.
Oh my God. Didn't old boy just? Oh no, he did.
Salute for that one. That's funny.
Oh man.
3 feet.
I was about to say, didn't old boy just get fined for that? But he said no homo.
He said no homo. Yeah.
He said no homo. The nigga in the Brooklyn Nets, he was talking something like something. We got some fly guys on here, no homo. He got fined like $50K for that.
No, you can't say that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nah.
We know when you said pause, I was like, you making fun of the Asians. Now he's saying pause. We get canceled. Let's just stop the whole show, man. Oh God.
Get demonetized.
Cancel. My second John is 3 Feet High Rising. Favorite song, I Know. I Know. Love that song. Stay No Go. It's crazy because that sample and all, like, listen to them, and you know that's Philly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All in all, you know what I mean? So hearing that, I'm like, damn, I heard that. So the way they flipped that was perfect. And I'm gonna go, I like the Magic Number. I like the Magic Number. The verse, Dave's verse on that is
bruh.
Yeah.
On some other shit, like next level. One of my favorite from him. So that's my second. Third, damn man. I'm gonna go with Balloon Mind State. It has my favorite, probably top 2 favorite De La Soul songs, and that's Break of Dawn. Like that song is just like smooth. It's like almost perfect song. Like
it's so
smooth. The beat, the lyrics, everything coincide. It's like almost a perfect song to me. You know what I'm saying? And Ego Tripping is another song I like off there. That video is funny. The video, they was wilding. They was wilding in the video. And I like In Focus. I like In Focus. My man's is on there.
Dress.
Yeah. So I fuck with that. And then fourth would be Grind Date. Much more is like, my man said I play the Xbox instead of fucking with dice. Like when he said, I can relate to that shit, man. I can relate to it. And then when I seen him performing on Dave Chappelle, it just made it. It just made it.
Incredible Hulk fits on.
Yeah. It just made it that much better. What's another song on there? Rock Cocaine. I mean,
oh my God.
I really don't even say anything about that. Like,
no, you don't.
And then I like the title track, Grind Date. So those are my 4. But it's crazy because like I could easily put another album in. That's the crazy.
Yeah.
Leaving one off is kind of bothering me a little bit, but I'm gonna play by the rules. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be Boys and Men today. No joke.
I appreciate it. Eddie, what you got up for yours, man?
All right, so my first one is Stakes is High. I'll go with the title track. I mean, just like what everyone said about it. I mean, just a statement record, and I would say one of the dopest title tracks in hip hop history. I mean, it has to be up there. You know what I mean? We talk about that, and one of my favorite Trugoy verses, for sure. Going, once again with Dave, It's So Easy, his solo joint, like I love that. I love that joint, man. I know Vern always quoting that.
Which one?
I say you always quoting that. It's so easy.
Oh yeah, I'm quoting it tonight too.
No doubt, no doubt. And I'm going with Big Brother beat with Mos Def. Just a dope collab, man. You know what I mean? Because I feel like it was a passing of the torch.
Yeah.
Because you know, Mos Def was cut from that cloth. You know what I mean? So it was a dope song. You know what I mean? My number 2, I'm gonna put the Grind Date. You know, I feel like the Grind Date is one of my, I would call it a mature grown man hip hop album. It's one of my favorite in that category. You know what I mean? The stuff that they're talking about on that album, it just sticks with me. Even more now than when it came out. Just me being older and more mature. Also, I think I was still in my mid-20s when that joint dropped, so now I'm in my 40s and it's still speaking to me. So I go with Rock Cocaine Flow, Crazy, shout out to Jake One, much more. Everybody's been mentioning it. That joint is dope. And shout out to Rec One. I know he's not on the show, man.
Yeah,
like he played that, like he did a De La Soul tribute. He did that. He ran it back. Like he played much more, and like he ran it back to end the show, man. Like just that impact and Dave's verse, the way he sets it off is like just really dope. He comes with Ghostface. I just love that energy, man. And it's just such a unexpected collabo, but it just works.
Hey Eddie, hey, let me jump in. When I saw them in concert and they did that song, Dave was like, "What the hell is Ghost saying?" Impossible, like, I don't know, man, but it's dope.
Yo, did Ghost came out and perform with him?
No, he wasn't there. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I'd have been like, shit.
You can go cruising in my OJ. It's like,
okay. Yeah, man. My number 3, man. I'm going with 3 Feet High and Rising. You know, definitely playing it a lot. I mean, I definitely, you know, appreciate that album. Obviously, the nostalgia, but also, you know, because it's an album I could play around my son, and you know, he's gonna appreciate it. So I'm going with The Magic Number. Love that joint. Say No Go, like For All the Reasons, the Hall of Notes sample. It's just really dope concept on that, and I know it's just a beautiful song, man. Just
it is,
simply put.
Great.
I mean, as far as like hip hop love songs, I think it doesn't get mentioned enough.
Right.
And my number 4, I'm going with Blue Mind State, Ego Trippin' Part 2. Just dope. Break of Dawn, for all the reasons everyone said, and IMIB. You know, that's another one, man, where I love Dave's verse on that joint. So those are my 4.
All right, JR, what about you, bro?
All right, y'all, I got 3. I ain't gonna act like I know everything. Like I'm not gonna come on here and be like, yo, I know all. Nah, I'm not doing that. But I'm gonna say my number 1 is Stakes is High. The first one is my favorite on that has to be Big Brother beat. And then is Super MCs, because a Dave line in that joint is whew. And this one is hard. I'm gonna go with It's So Easy. I'm gonna have to go with that one, with the video and everything about it. And this is just Dave's record, to be honest with you. So it was just dope for, you know what I'm saying, you know, plug 3 and 1 to play the back. You know what I mean? So that was dope to me. You know what I mean? So them in the video with that. 2, I'm gonna have to go with 3 Feet High and Rising. 1, The Magic Number. 2 is Ghetto Thing.
That's a good pull.
Good one. Good one.
I love that.
Yes, sir.
Ghetto Thing so much. So, and then 3, it would have to Say No Go. The way they spitting on that is just, and then like y'all said, of course, the sample. And my last one is going De La Soul is Dead. 1, Let Me In.
Let me in. Your job to make me cry.
Yes, and then they rhymed on
yes.
That is nice.
They have more.
Yes, like that roller skating Saturday. That just brings back so many memories because when my mom gets on her native tongue tip, she will go from Buddy, then she would play Say No Go, then she will go to Saturday, and then she will end it with Description of a Fool.
Yeah, so Roy Ayers, that makes sense.
Yeah, like that's her shit. She like on her native tongue tip.
Yeah,
that's where she go with it. You know what I mean? Because she'll start with Buddy and take it there. And I'm like, so that brings back memories. And the last one is going to be Peas Porridge.
Woo! Think they didn't when they did. They didn't care who they was hit.
Bro, do you know how many times I used that line? You think he did when he did? Like that, I took more away from that conversation, man. Which was very reminiscent of the part of Wild Style, the movie, when they're like, yo, you know, here come the Fearless Four. Like, yo, I heard before they gonna play basketball. You know what I mean? So I think it may have been a play on that, or if not, just reminds me. But yeah, I used to always be like, you think he did when he did?
Yup.
Yeah, and then I was just singing along to it. You know what I'm saying? People is in the pot 9. So yeah, so that's my 3 and my favorite.
All right, no doubt. One of the things I want to talk about De La real quick is from a production standpoint. You know, because when we talk about De La, I feel like we never really talk about Prince Paul, which was like the 4th member of the group. You know what I mean? Because of all the production and everything that Paul, from skits, from the interludes, from like Anu said, stuff kind of flying in all over the place. Like, you know, we talk about the Bomb Squad doing that. We talk about Dre doing that, but Paul was really doing that too. And just even listening to De La's Dead this week, when you're looking at WRMS, Dedication to the Biddies, that's the first time I heard the Joe Sample joint that Pac used for Dear Mama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the first time I heard that. When you're looking at a roller skating jam named Saturday, it's so many pieces in there. You got Grease soundtrack from Grease is the word. You got Chicago, which is one of my mother's favorite bands. So Saturday in the Park is one of my favorite songs ever. So the whole Saturday, that's from Chicago. So you got that. When you talk about Biddies in the BK Lounge, you talk about the first time you heard Lou Donaldson, It's My Thing, which Diamond went on to use for Punk's Jump Up to Get Beat Down. Yep. You know what I mean? You talk about Let Me In, it's the first time you're hearing Tramp that was used by Cypress Hill and EPMD's Rampage. So just to give props to Prince Paul, because so many of these songs that I'm saying, I heard Dear Mama, and I'm like, oh, that's off De La Soul's Dead. You know, right. And you know, I'm hearing Punk's Jump Up to Get Beat Down. I'm like, hey, that's Biddies in the BK Lounge. So, you know what I mean? There's so much history that goes back to De La Soul is Dead, which if it dropped in 91, that means it was cooked up in 90, 88, 89, 90. So just to give props to Prince Paul for the production, and then also to De La because they did an Outkast. Outkast came up under Organized Noise, and they went on to start producing for themselves. I think 90% of Stakes That's High is produced by De La. You know what I mean? Right. So the same way that we give Organized props for Outkast props for coming up under, you know, Organized Noise, and then being able to go on and produce incredible songs for themselves, you know, we gotta give that same love to De La Soul for being able to do the same thing. And again, just want to give Prince Paul some love, because whenever I hear people talk about De La, to be honest with you, I never hear Prince Paul's name brought up. And I don't know if we have De La the way we love them without Prince Paul, you know. So just wanted to give Prince Paul some love. JR.
I got a question. Is it when Let Me In? Is it those same drums that's used for What Goes Around Comes Around? With
by Puba? I'm not sure. I'll go back and check it out again. But like I said, I was just listening to.
Every time I hear it, I'll be like, "Is that the same drum?"
I'll check it out. But it's definitely the first time that I heard that doom. You know, that whole Rampage and Cypress Hill, you know how I could just kill him.
Keith Murray remix, Keith Murray and Mary J. Blige, I Wanna Be Happy remix.
Right.
The part that Maceo rhymed on.
Right. You know what I mean? So just wanted to give some love to Paul and just everything that Daylight has done as far as production, because the bulk of y'all all name Stakes Is High as your favorite album, and that's produced by Daylight for the most part. You know, so again, I think we look at them as amazing MCs, but we also have to throw them in the very dope producer conversation too, right there. Tell me this, is De La Soul a top 5 hip hop group ever? For me, they are. They come in at number 5 for me. I have Outkast first, Gangstar 2, EPMD 3, Tribe 4, and then De La number 5. So it's definitely a top 5 hip hop group for me, and anybody watching. Coming in at number 5 with the groups I just named is a very dope accomplishment in my eyes. Because again, we've done the dopest hip hop groups on here, and they're a whole 64 March Madness bracket. So just keep in mind, top 5 for a culture that's been around for 50 years, pretty goddamn good. So before y'all start like, oh, I thought this was a salute show. Let me explain something to y'all one watching at home. A salute show to me doesn't mean I'm gonna jump on your dick. So that, let's get that straight. So just because I'm saluting you doesn't mean I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, they was number 1 and they're the greatest group of all time. I'm giving out flowers, but my nigga, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you too. You know, so coming in number 5 is out of what, maybe 100 groups. I gladly come in at number 5 on somebody's producer list out of 100 producers. So number 5 is not a bad thing. So, you know, because trust me, I know how y'all think out there in Twitter land. There's gonna be somebody like, I thought this was a salute show. Like, a salute show does not mean you're gonna be my number 1. So let's just get that straight. Vern, what about you, good brother? Is Daylight in your top 5?
I think my wall says it. That's Daylight, that's Outkast, that's PE, and Tribe Called Quest. That's 4 out of 5. And I guess if I had to choose 5, I would go EPMD. So yes, they are in my top 5 unequivocally. They're my favorite group, actually.
Okay. Good news. What about you, bro?
Yeah, they're definitely in my top 5. I don't know what order, because I gotta have Tribe in there. I gotta have Run DMC in there. I gotta have Wu-Tang in there. But they're definitely in my top 5.
All right, no doubt. Rel, what about you, bro?
Yes, they are in my top 5, along with Tribe, Outkast, EPMD. Them, that's 4, and probably Wu or the Mob Deep, but they up there. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're in my top 5. They're a third for me. Just like, we're going off of my favorite, they're third. And yeah.
All right, no doubt. Eddie, what about you?
Yeah, they're in my top 5. I mean, I can't really say where I would put them, but you know, I have to really think about it. But they gotta sneak in the top 5. I mean, I probably have similar list as well. You know, with Tribe and Wu-Tang, and gotta throw PE in there, and but you look at all those albums that we've been talking about, man, and their impact. Hard not to have them in the top 5.
All right, JR, what about you, bro?
Absolutely, they're in my top 5. Like, I won't know where I picked them, to be honest, because Tribe is number 1 for me. So, and then 2 would be Wu-Tang, but between EPMD, Run DMC, and De La Soul, I don't know where I will put them, but absolutely in my top 5.
All right, let me ask y'all this, because on the timeline and conversations, I rarely hear Daylight's name brought up. Do you think, going back to the whole standing in the shadows of show, do you think because they're in the native tongue, and initially when people think native tongue, they think Tribe, so Tribe kind of, they're standing in the shadows of Tribe, because I'm really trying to figure out, you know, why don't I hear De La's name more? You know, listening to everybody talk about Stakes is High, I'm like, you know, did them doing that turn a lot of people off? Like how I said a lot of times, almost with the thing with Outkast is to me is I know a lot of my street niggas stopped listening to Outkast after ATL. When Dre started wilding the fuck out and wigs and football pads, like my niggas was like, nah, that's your man. Go get your man. I ain't listening to that. So I'm wondering if, but the other thing about Outkast is they would lose fans and gain more fans. You know what I mean? Which is very hard to do in hip hop. So I'm wondering if De La maybe lost fans in '96 and just never got them back. You know, so because I'm positive, I can almost bet you that there are a rack of people who never heard any of the AOI joints, never heard Grind Day, never heard the joint they put out a while ago, because it was like they were on that side of hip hop with the Crystal Poppers and all of that. But why do you think De La's name isn't brought up more? I mean, you're talking about a group with Pasta Noose is always heralded as an incredible lyricist. Dave is there. They've never broken up. They've never put out a whack album. That last one was on the borderline cusp of it.
Anonymous Nobody.
Yeah, Anonymous Nobody. But a lot of that I know for me was about the hype behind it. You know what I mean? Like the GoFundMe and we got live musicians coming in and we're gonna get all that 80 hours of music and we're gonna sample it and chop it. And then I heard that, I was like, nigga, give me my GoFundMe money back for this shit. Y'all must have paid for some kids to go to college for that album. That shit, y'all did not use all that money for this, my nigga. I could make this album for fucking 5,000. So, you know, just being, y'all know it's, but why do y'all think that they don't? What you gonna say, Eddie?
I was gonna say, like, you know, when you're doing the whole GoFundMe thing and like all this fan participation and stuff, it's like you can't have an organic De La album in that fashion. Like, I can't see it. You know what I mean? It's just too many moving parts, too much hype, too much input, and all that. You know, it just wasn't gonna be that, in my opinion.
Right. So what do y'all think it is? So Vern, what do you think? Do you think maybe you feel like De La does get the props they deserve?
No, they don't. I think part of it is you got to think why. I just speak from why I love De La so much is because they never took themselves too seriously, and they were never been afraid to be who they are. So you had a niche in time where, okay, yeah, you know, it's cool, De La, but then when you start, because you guys think. De La went on tour with like NWA and those type of groups when they first came out.
Too Short.
Too Short, no, yes. So hip hop was more accepting for a time frame, and then we switched to what you're talking about. You know, the Jiggy era or the extra hard, keeping it real era.
Before we got the Jiggy, we got to what I like to call the 40 and a blunt.
And a blunt, yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. So those 40 and the blunt crew, the rappers and the people that like those rappers, they probably maybe have secretly listened to De La, but it wasn't cool to say, you know, yeah, I'm rocking with De La, and to a far lesser degree, I'm gonna just put this as an aside. People trip me out. When PM Dawn first came out, niggas was listening to it, but you can't say that you were listening to it now because, you know,
I will go out and say, Bird, I've never heard a PMD album a day in my life. I heard the songs, the PM Dawn, but I was not listening to that.
Okay, but somebody was listening to it.
And no, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I just didn't want the generalization. You like niggas was listening, like, whoa, tight. There was one nigga who wasn't. I wasn't listening to PM Dawn.
All right, well, let me go back to De La. So, like, you were scared to still talk about De La because you Keep It Real crew wasn't rocking with you, and I think they fell under that. Because see, you got to think Tribe, Fife.
Because that's what I was about to ask you. What's the difference between De La and Tribe?
Easily. The reason why they clicked is because they were weird together. if Fife was not in Tribe, they would have been just like De La. Q-Tip is some old esoteric, eccentric type cat.
Fife kept them.
There you go.
About basketball and sports.
There you go. There you go. He had on the fitteds and stuff.
Yeah.
When they even if you look when they had on the kente cloth or whatever it was, Fife still has you know, he ain't go way over there, and that's why Tribe didn't get blackballed or typecast the same way De La Soul did. To me,
that's interesting because I'm thinking, does this go back to how I'm always like there can only be one? You know what I mean? Like how I'm always like, you know, Steph and AI come out in the same draft. It can only be one. Jay-Z and Biggie rhyme the same way. It can only be one, you know? So I'm just wondering, because to me, I feel what you're saying about Fife, but I kind of felt like neither one of them dudes was anything close to the Wu or the 40 and Blunt era. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Fife talked about basketball and he wore it fitted, but nobody would ever look at Fife and be like, yo, that nigga about that life. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering if there was just room for one and that we just made our pick with Tribe. And just
I just think De La was too weird for your average cat to feel free enough to tell the nigga they rode the train with that I rock with De La, and that's just my feelings on it. I mean, the reason why De La, like the news said, regular dudes was like, yo, these are dudes that I can relate to, and after a certain point, everybody wasn't regular no more. Everybody had to put on this persona, and they suffered the consequences.
I did. They just still kept it themselves. They never followed whatever trend, whatever was trending at the time. De La Soul never did it. I think that's why people don't fuck with that, because they like, yo, these niggas ain't. Why they ain't popping bottles? Why they ain't driving to this? Or why, you know what I'm saying? Why they ain't got the girls and they ain't doing this and that? Like they never, you know what I'm saying? They just kept it true to who they are. You see in States High, Dave, and then they show them in the laundromat washing clothes and shit. You know what I'm saying? Nobody does. Who ever did that in the video? Pump ain't watching in the laundromat. You know what I mean?
But is Outkast different than that?
This is why Outkast is different. I was glad you brought them up. Big Boy is Fife, because Andre would have been on Saturn somewhere, but Big Boy held him within the stratosphere, because it was like street niggas were like, okay, a Big Boy is real, and if that's his man, then that's kind of a cosign in the past.
All right, I can see what you're saying with that, because keep in mind when Outkast first came out, Dre was a regular nigga. Like this nigga was Benz on beat. So okay, I see what you're saying. All right, Rel, what you think?
Damn, what was the question? I done got lost.
Why De La is it mentioned? Like, you know, it always intrigues me to try to figure out like why. I mean, Cartoon Network. I don't know if Cartoon Network has ever taken a hip hop group and put them in an episode of anything, and they do it with De La. So De La is touching people, but for some reason, when it comes to hip hop conversations, their name is rarely ever brought up as one of the dopest groups ever.
I think Tribe has something to do with it, because you think about it, when you think Native Tongues, you think Tribe, you don't even think of the JBs, you don't even think of Jungle Brothers, and
like Tribe, you know wiped out everybody. I feel like Tribe came on and it was like in Men in Black moment to anybody else in Native Tongues.
True. And De La album dropped before Tribe.
Right.
I think you know, I think once you got to Low End Theory and all that, it became more digestible for everyone, instead of De La who stuck to their style that was so different, and it wasn't digestible for everybody. Everybody wasn't so open-minded to listen to it. You know what I'm saying? Tribe kind of were able to straddle the line. Fife had a lot to do with it, but also what had a lot to do with it was production a little bit, and the type of songs. Like they kind of
about to say,
agreed.
Yep, beats. Like when you hear Bugging Out, It's a boom bap.
Right. That's a boom bap beat.
And De La doesn't really have that boom bap.
Exactly.
Listen to Scenario remix, like, you know, them tip beats. And as much as I love De La's beats, they weren't necessarily that boom bap. So you could bang that in the car. You could bang Bugging Out. You could bang the jazz. You know what I mean? That low end bass. I don't know if you could really throw in a lot of a De La CD and then really bang in the whip like that, or bang in the speakers like that.
Because Bugging Out is a 40 and a blunt boom bap. I can imagine one of them niggas rapping over that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they were able to straddle the line that between their original roots and then everybody else, like the mainstream. You know what I'm saying? I think that was the difference. But then, you know, it's so crazy because De La has more longevity than Tribe.
Yep.
Much more longevity.
Yep. And better quality albums. Better catalog.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They have that advantage over a lot of groups that were not overlooked during their prime like they were. So it's just ironic that it's like that. You know what I'm saying?
And it may be Tribe's biggest songs, like Electric Relaxation is a huge song. You know what I mean? War Tour. Like, shorties know that, you know, I love them black, Puerto Rican, or Haitian. You know, like, I don't know if the average shorty is rhyming along with De La Soul. You know what I mean? So that's a good point. Eddie, what about you? What you think?
So, you know, I'm not going to retread all the points that you guys made, but I will state the obvious, which is we're in the streaming era, and De La Soul is not on streaming.
Yeah.
That's a big point, and because I could see, like, if you look at all the artists that are popping now, right? I can see a lot of fans gravitating towards some of the De La stuff, and even stuff like, you know, the De La Soul is Dead with all that they sampled, the Balloon Mind State stuff. You know, obviously Stakes is High. I think Stakes is High would just be beloved, you know what I mean? Just like all the other albums that, you know, we talk about in '96. It's just not on streaming. Obviously, the album that is Grind Date, right? That's them a little bit later in the group. We love it. But I feel like
most dopest intro album to them. If that's all people can go to, is Grind Date.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, man, I think that's a good point. You know, but what y'all saying about De La, you know, for sure, you know what I mean? It's all valid. I mean, I feel like a Tribe Called Quest had higher highs. I feel like they had higher highs, but I feel like De La had more consistency throughout their career.
Eddie, Paz said this. He said, in life, you could be a sparkler or an incense. A sparkler burns brighter, but it burns shorter. He said, we want to be an incense. That fragrance gonna burn longer, and you can smell it all in the room. That's what De La is, man.
Right. Yep. It's a good point. Good point. JR, what you thinking?
I agree with everything y'all said. I was gonna say about, I think Tribe was, when you think of native tongues, you think of them first. And it's like, I don't even see people, like y'all said, don't even talk about the Jungle Brothers or nothing like that. It's just Tribe and that's it. But I think also that Tribe was commercially accepted, but the hook also rocked with them too. And the problem, like you said, Kill, it ended up being with the hood. It's like, oh, I ain't messing with them cats. Like, nah, they too weird. You know what I mean? But then with Tribe, because even like y'all said, when Q-Tip first came out, he was doing exactly what they were doing. But once they got to low end, he started dressing like Fife.
Well, I mean, keep in mind, that's one of the reasons why I wasn't a Tribe fan, because I was like, fuck are we talking about? Like, you left your Wild and Out Segundo. Did you? Does that mean some shit? Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Y'all dressing like this. When I see Check the Rhyme, it reminds me, and I always say this, how the Roots and the Tribe, like, trajectory to me is so much of the same. Because when you put on Do You Want More, it was Look Mine, no samples. We're not sampling. We're a band and we're going to play straightforward music. And to me, that turned me off. I was like, you don't sample, all right, whatever, nigga. And yes, I know the Roots are from Philly. Just because you're from Philly don't mean I gotta like you. But then, so if the last time you heard the Roots was silent treatment, and the next time you hear them as clones, that's night and day of each other. That's literally night and day of each other. Like, you went from We Don't Sample to you sampling Summer in the City by Quincy Jones. You know? So again,
even a video for Clones, everything about Clones was like, oh shit, like make that
like, somebody like that?
Yeah, and that was not the vibe of Do You Want More. Now, I actually like Do You Want More. It was cool.
No, I like Do You Want More. I like it, but it was the same with People's Instinctives. I like People's Instinctives. This is a dope album, but I was like, why y'all dressed like that? I see Check the Rhyme, and I'm like, oh, they got on jerseys, they got on fitteds, they out in Queens. Okay, but it was almost like night and day, because it was like, you know, the differences. You know what I mean? So I think, bro, you made a great point with the beats too. You know, like Tribe just has that boom bap. You know what I mean? They have them hard ass beats that, like you kind of was saying, like you could throw on a Scenario remix and let a nigga freestyle over that. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm throwing on any De La joints to let somebody freestyle over. What you gonna say, Gnu?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, just be talking about the contrast of De La and Tribe, and this is no slight to my man Q-Tip. I love Q-Tip. He calls himself the abstract. De La Soul is the real abstract.
Yeah,
and because I'm like,
yes,
I think that's another reason why they get overlooked, because people don't really understand what they're talking about. You really have to listen. You really have to be in tune. I think it takes a certain level of intelligence to really sit down and listen to De La, especially albums like Stakes is High, where they get like more serious and like I said, they're just their style of rap, their content, and like I said, they're really abstract and mad, like cryptic.
Yeah.
With their wording, man. So like I said, the average head is not trying to break all that down. They really just want to bop their head and just, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's all the average listener want to do. Now, us as hip hop heads, we know that. We giving them the flowers, we giving them the credit. But like I said, your average, just casual listener, man, they can't really digest the De La Soul. Like everybody's saying, Tribe was more digestible. You know what I mean? Even though they're abstract too, they got that De La shit with them, but De La is just more. It's just more to it. I think to them.
I give you a good example.
More complexity in the rhymes.
I give you
and both Dave and Paz are better MCs than Phife and Q-Tip.
Oh,
hands down.
Oh yeah.
We gonna say
like. Remember we mentioned Outkast, and I know for me, not being from the South, the song that really turned me on to Outkast was Benz or Beamer. You know,
Jersey Drive soundtrack.
Yeah, because Benz or Beamer had like a bounce to it that I was like, it sounded like what I was listening to. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, and it introduced me and it opened my mind and my ears to listen to Outkast more, and then they became one of my favorite groups. But you know what I'm saying, like, it took a song like that had kind of a East Coast bounce to it, like beat wise and all that, like for it to go to my ears, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's what happened with Tribe and De La. Like, Tribe's beats and some of those songs was just so much more digestible to people than De La stuff, you know what I'm saying? Where the closed-minded people wouldn't even give it a chance. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Can I put an aside to what Gnu said? Paz coined it. He says, F being hard, Pasta Noose is complicated. When everybody else is trying to be hard, I'm complicated. It's just, not to say that people are dumb, but you know, a lot of people don't want to have to do the extra work to think and decipher lyrics and stuff. So,
and I think too in '96, you know, Puff is running the radio. Everything is about partying at that time. I remember talking to my young boy intern. I'm like, yo, nigga, you do know we had parties before Puff existed, right? Like, you do know, niggas, that Puffy did not invent the party. Like, niggas went to parties and music was played, but, you know, I just think by 96, everybody kind of like everybody saying, like, niggas just wanted to dance. You know, it was just the era of dancing. It was an era of being flossy, you know, like Foxy said, I'm not responding to J. Rue. He don't sell no records. Like, this is where we are in rap beefs now. Like, yeah, you diss me, but nigga, you broke. I'm not even saying nothing back to you type thing. You know what I mean? That wouldn't have flew in 87. You said something about Foxy, you better say something back. You know, or you're the whack one for not responding. Now we flipped it. The banana in the tailpipe is, no, you the whack one for dissing me because nigga, you broke. You know what I mean? So that could be a thing. Now, one of the things that prayerfully so far people have walked away with De La joints to check out, you know, songs to go to, you know, albums to go to. Now I just want to show some love to Dave, you know, because I felt like he was such an underrated, dope MC. So we're going to be looking at bars, our top 5 verses of bars. If you got them, you can rap along with them. I'm going to try to rap along with them. I'm old, y'all. My brain ain't there, so I may mess up here and there. I'm reading this shit right here, and I still may mess up. I am sure everyone is going to have his verse from Stakes is High. I'm sick of bitches shaking asses. I'm sick of talk about blunt, sick of Versace glasses, sick of slang. Sick of half-ass award shows, sick of name brand clothes, sick of R&B bitches over bullshit tracks, cocaine and crack, which brings sickness to blacks. Sick of swole head rappers with they sickening raps. Clappers and gats make the whole sick world collapse. The facts are getting sick and even sicker perhaps. I stick to a bush to make a bundle to escape the synapse. So, I mean, I just remember hearing that and just being like, oh, like everybody has said about Stakes is High. Rel has said it. It was just like, oh, okay. Like, yo. But at the end of the day, this was this is how I felt at that time. Again, I'm doing strictly hip hop. I'm sick of bitches shaking asses. Well, I mean, you know, you can shake ass.
We understand what you mean, man.
You know, I'm sick of blunts. I don't know if I was sick of blunts at that time either, but I get what you're saying, good brother. Sick of Versace glasses, sick of slang. I can tell you this, to this day, I'm sick of half-ass award shows. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that could, but just the way that that Dave was just going on that. So that's one of my favorite verses right there. Vern, what is one of your favorite Dave verses?
Hold on real quick. That verse you said, like, he was just.
Oh, and again, if anybody wants to talk about that verse, because I'm sure, or I would assume, most people had that on their list. So everybody, please dive in.
He was sick of the oversaturation of those things that you think. Like, of course, everybody like to look at a chick shake their ass, but every time I open up my phone, that's not what I want to. Like, I'm with my daughter, I open my phone, I can't even open my phone and it's an ass that it's the oversaturation of all that bullshit every day.
Yeah,
you know and that's now. That shit is 96. You said in 96, and I open Twitter now.
Man, and it's porn.
It's an ass every time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Versace's still around. Versace's still out there.
Yeah, like all that shit. So like, I felt that shit. Like, it was good. It was good for him to say that shit. Like, and I know everybody probably had that first as one of their favorites from him.
Because to me, it's one of the dopest verses. You know. So again, just for people watching who may not know about Dave, may not know about De La, that's definitely one you should definitely get started on right there.
Did they get a verse of the month and the source or something? Didn't it?
I don't know. By that time, I think the source was fading.
I don't know, but to be honest with you, I don't even know I don't know. Probably the source was in Bad Boy Pocket at that time too. Yeah. So I don't even know if they would have picked that verse. Even if they wanted to pick it, you know, could have been like, nah, B, you can't. That can't be verse of the month, right? Yeah. Now. But it should have been. It should have been verse of the year, to be honest with you. But you know, which is saying a lot. In 1996, that Dave could have had hip hop verse of the year. You know, so. What you got for one of yours, Vern?
So I'm gonna be Jodeci. So I got 6, but I'm gonna do the first one is to highlight your same song. No, it's so easy. This was during the time when everybody was a mafioso, crime boss, crime lord.
I'm lying.
No, I'm not gonna do it then. I'm gonna save it for my
do it.
Go ahead.
Go, do it.
Dave was like, them Cubans don't care what y'all niggas do. Colombians ain't never ran with your crew. Why you acting all spicy and shiesty? The only Italians you knew was icy, nigga. Spicy. I'm keeping it clean like a washing machine, bruh. Man, real. To go against all them mafioso niggas with that leg, bruh. Them niggas was hard body, and that's what I'm saying, man. Most of the people with all that talking hard ain't real, but regular niggas will get you up out of here, cause you know we quiet, walk softly, and carry a big stick. And that lyric right there, man, I like was that's what I'm saying. Get him, Dave. So that's my first one.
Yeah, and I think the thing about that, bro, is when you really think about it, that's what being hard is about. Hard is about standing on your own too. And fighting for what you believe in. That's being hard. That's actually the true definition of being hard. And again, you see that De La is still here. It's not like niggas is sitting around like, we don't want De La on streaming services. Like, people have been wanting that for years. You know what I mean? So I think that that's a great point, because that's actually what being hard is about, which is huge. Good news. What's one of your favorite Dave lyrics or bars?
Okay. Before I do that, I just want to go into a few things. You mentioned award shows. When Pasta Noose was at the Grammys and he performed Buddy, he kind of messed up the lyrics. But like, and when I found out what happened when Dave passed, I was like, wow. Now I see why Pasta Noose.
What happened?
When he was performing Buddy at the Grammys, to me, it looked like he
fumbled some lyrics.
He fumbled some lyrics on Buddy a little bit. No disrespect, but he kind of fumbled the lyrics on Buddy a little bit. But like I said, and I kind of pointed that out to cats. But like I said, later on when Dave passed, I was like, wow, now I see why he was fumbling Buddy at the Grammys, because his man was on his deathbed. Like, he knew he was. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, just wanted to make that point, man. Also, we're not talking about these dudes' freaking names, man. Pasta Noose is fucking clown sock spelled backwards, and fucking Trugoy is yoga backwards.
Yoga,
like they spelling their names backwards. And you know what? And as I'm going on YouTube and I'm hearing different people report the news that he's passing. And I'm hearing them destroy Pasta Noose's name. I'm like, yo, you're reporting on De La death, and you ain't even pronouncing the name right.
You know what it is, bro? Yo. Again, I always say, bro, I don't care if you're doing anything hip hop. I don't care if you're doing any type of news report. You need somebody on your team who's over 45. 45 is the minimum to get hired. To report on this culture. That's the age minimum. People say you shouldn't do ageism. I'm doing ageism like a motherfucker. You can't report on my culture unless you're 45 or older. If TMZ needs somebody, fucking hire me. I'll be a hip hop fucking correspondent. Because you're right. You shouldn't be messing up no Pasta Noose name. You shouldn't be messing up nobody's name. I forgot I was watching something and it was the same thing. They were like slaughtering somebody's name. It was just like, what? Like, because y'all don't know nothing about the culture. Somebody just gave you a script and just said, read this. But I feel you on that, bro. I feel you on that.
Yeah, so my favorite, man, like, Trugoy had one of the illest voices in rap. Trugoy's verses are like, even verses off 3 Feet High and Rising, as I'm listening to them 30 years later, I'm just either just catching the shit or I'm just still like, yo, I don't know what he's talking about right there, yo. But it sounds like it's so like nobody else. He's like a jigsaw puzzle or something with it. It's like, I don't know, man. But like as far as his bars, this is like a really simple bar, but on the song Ego Trippin', when he says, I got gills like Johnny.
Well, good for ya.
Like, he says that. Like, I don't know. Like, that's it. Yo, it's so simple. But when he says, I got gills like Johnny, I love that. That's like my favorite. That's why I love De La Soul, man. But that's why my favorite song, man. Just because he said he got gills like Johnny. Also, in that song, he says, it's a lot going on, and ain't a damn thing happening. I'm like, I don't know, man. That's just fly shit, man. To
fly.
Me. Oh,
I feel you.
Hey, Kill. Let me point. I said I was gonna shout this brother out, and it points to what you just said. Shout out to Kenan Bell. He said, "Never knew where Dave's verse was gonna take you. Couldn't predict the meter he was following or the cadence changes, but that kept you listening. Didn't always understand what he was saying, but it was understood. He felt it deeply within the fibers of his being, and if he felt it, we feel it. You know, like on. I'm sorry, I'm taking out a turn. But go ahead, Bill.
Go ahead, bro. You good? You adding on.
Like on. Brown coming for the collection plate this week, so just everybody just.
So I got on my reading glasses. You said I did more research last week. No, this took the cake, bro. Because I cried several times this week. You know, listening to Dave's stuff, and I called my boys and let them know. Well, we ain't gonna take it down, but on let me see, like Mr. Sprinkler, wet me for one, Mr. Sprinkler. I'm heating high fives in the day's no split. What are you talking about? I don't know, but he's feeling it. You know, that's what Dave did. And he said, like on Sticker Bush, what's the song gonna belong? He's like, hey boy, what's that styling? Get started. Should have started over again. I don't know what Dave is talking about, but it's funky, man.
Word.
So I just wanted to add that to your thing, good news.
No, I got you. Another one.
Hold tight. We're gonna go around. Bro, what's one of yours, bro?
All right, so this is all Break of Dawn, and this is like like riding a beat, and like you just in the pocket, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to mess it up, but I'm gonna try. So he was like, we was like, we in the morning at the end, but in the end I be the one, cause this all right. Mama got the rhythm to the daylight. My pops got enough to beat the leave when the sail to the waves. We said to the long I lay the anchor in the veil, and how I relate to stay the side of my gate. Paper days mess up my mind. Ground 0 degrees and the weather feels fine. Open my eyes, man. My eyes skinned, I wasn't around. I seen the states and plays the dates and the far. Gathered anew from the zones around. Grew old with Mikey Rose and played the code. Sometimes I don't budge without my cuz fuzz. A simple how you do, a checking for my friends and my crew makes it definitely special. So and if you watch the video, he was kind of like bopping when he was spitting. And he was kind of like in his zone. You know what I mean? Like he rode that beat perfectly. He rode that part is crazy. So yeah.
Hey yo, Groove with the mayor has it on the say.
Eddie. Eddie, what you got, bro?
Yeah, man. All mine getting mentioned, man. But yo, I go with a more later album, man, off of Grind Date, Much More. Yo, like I love the way Dave sets it off. Yo, it's been instilled in me since Infinite, y'all, using these minutes like a value to call. I mean, the whole verse, man, but you know what I mean? People don't even get that now, right? Because everybody got unlimited minutes and shit. You know what I mean? They don't even get the reference on that. You know what? I love how he sets that joint off.
Let me piggyback on that one, what you had. Like I value the call, put your money in the bank and hold rank over friends who ain't got leadership skills. I got the sheep in my eyes so I can't sleep. We like the land and laid, the brand old ways, grand opposite the scandal ways. L.I. Shice, I play the Xbox instead of fucking with dice. I hate losing to those who walk away with my dough because I doze. Tracy broke me, and now she want to see the resident provoking me. Top wheelies on my bicycle, watch your eyes twinkle. One house, two house, third house, house rules, so house take bank. Watch Dave bank. Vanna had him on the Hawks in Atlanta extravaganza. Gamma Ray raps, I make the Hawk snap. Jump back like James Brown. Hey now, liquor over. Yo, we smoking the hay now. Delegate numero dos. I holler out the sounds of Los and keep the island close. Drop the mic right there, bro.
And let the whole
mic on that. Drop the mic, bro. Drop the mic.
What did he say?
Listen, man. And again, bro, like you said, I play the Xbox instead of fucking with dice. Why? Because I hate losing losing to those who walk away with my dough because I dozed.
Bro, man. I feel it, man, because I ain't doing no Super Bowl bracket or nothing, man, because I ain't trying to lose no money to these fools.
And my part was that whole 1 house, 2 house, 3rd house rules. So house take bank, watch day bank, like, whew, man. Much more. JR, what you got, good brother?
Oh shit. I'm gonna just go with a line that he did with Super MC, and when he said MCs be needing dough while I make bread like Wonder. I be like, and mind you, this is track 2. I'm like, what? Wait, what did he just say?
Man.
And I had to rewind that joint back on my Walkman, like, yo, did you just say this? Like, for real. So that was my line. But the other 3, y'all took that one because I figured y'all was gonna do the one where he said the only Italians you know is I knew that was coming. I was like, but that's my one there.
The next joint I got is what I call this style. The Ballad of Dorothy Parker style Dave hit y'all with. And that's coming off of Biddies in the BK Lounge. When he hits you. Well, it was a Wednesday. Me and Boss Hog was kind of hungry. Like 2 eggs and a slop beef slice of lettuce and a glass of milk and some cookies. If you've ever heard Ballad of Dorothy Parker and you hear Prince's flow on this, go home and do your homework. You'll see what I mean why I call this the Ballad of Dorothy Parker style. Spider in the Mist was a big logo.
They sampled that too. Did they sample that?
Yep. What we said, yo, what do you know? This chick thought I was trying to play fly because I had a pair of blue jeans. Young girl, won't you try to take my order? She said, yeah, but right now I'm sort of busy. Can't you see I'm trying to put this Band-Aid on my finger? Lingering. I could tell. She's a BK mademoiselle. Ripped uniform and bottom belt and some jelly stuff on her sleeve. Look to the cause because I had no shame on my collar. Could be pissed because she's clocking $2.45 an hour. And then Boss Hog holler, girl, you better make this quick. She said, I ain't your girl and I ain't your chick. I had an idea and lickety split, took my hat off, and that was it. Dreadlocks falling all over me. And then she said, oh, now we'll see. And oh, real quick velocity, honey, was mesmerized. Ain't you that guy? Ain't you that girl? De La Soul, right? No Tracy Chapman. Why don't you come over here to the counter and write me out an autograph? Ha, ha, ha. I had to laugh. She was quick for that big just to get that autograph. But me and Hog just laughed and laughed. What's the name of that song you sing? Living in a Fast Car. I said, forget about the order I made. I'm just going to get me a slice of pizza. That ain't nothing but the Ballad of Dorothy Parker style right there. And David Shaw.
It's just solid. No cadence, no beat, no.
It was the ballad. It's like when you listen to Ballad of Dorothy Parker, the way Prince is just talking, it's like he's just talking, and that's what David is doing here. He's just talking. You know what I mean? So Biddies in the BK Lounge, man.
I gotta go back and listen to that now.
Yep, that's the Ballad of Dorothy. Remember, y'all heard that here first. So all y'all out there watching, now y'all gonna be talking about the Ballad of Dorothy Parker style. Vern, what you got up next, good brother?
All right, this is aggressive, Dave. Verbal clap off of Grind Date. And you prepare yourself for the neutron.
Bitch.
This is 86. Let that neo rap go. We present these players to put fire to your ears, to lay smoke like rusty exhaust pipes. We run mics, let Shine run a marathon. Yo, raise that money, son. We raising these kids. Get clapped when curtains close, stage left. Up your stamina, baby. Bring some breath. SAT book smart, part essay low like Tone Street. Niggas get grown. Acquire more couth before you get poofed. Or get some shells sent over to your mic booth. Excuse my delivery, but when peas don't work, see this piece gonna work. Cock, aim, shoot. It's my constitutional right to bear arms. Arms and bare hands on mics make fans unite. Woodstock and white folks involved. Black man, get on your job. That nigga, man. Golly, man.
I'm telling y'all, prayerfully y'all watching, paying attention, man. Dave was a problem. You know what I mean? And I get it. You know, if you don't know the music, you don't know the MC, you don't know the man, it's hard to understand it. And that's what we want to do, is provide for y'all watching, you know, why Dave was so fucking dope. Good news. What's another joint you got, bro?
Yeah, I don't have like full like verses, man. Like, you know, like so many of his joints are dope, man. But I mean, I remember on the joint with John A, I like when he says, "You in the pie face, huh? Well, I play your Capone." That was like a mob, you know, Italian mafia reference, like, you know what I'm saying? Like how he said on your Italians, you know, was icy, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right,
one of these type of lines. And even on Jennifer, man, Jennifer taught me when he says positions, muscles flex, Dove was lost in a Ghana hex. Now, boom. At that time, I was like, okay, he said Ghana hex, but then later on, I was like, oh shit, he talking about a hexagon. Like,
yo, bro, listen, hold on. I just learned that right now. I thought he was talking about gonorrhea. Wow.
That's what I thought. I thought he was talking about gonorrhea.
Wow.
He said he was talking Ghana hex, a hexagon.
Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. This is why I love chopping it up with dope people, because nobody out there can ever say you can't watch episode of Apartment 5B and you don't learn something. Because I know a lot of shit and I learn something new every week. So you know, we keep it going. Rel, what you got up next for another verse, man?
All right, so you know, a lot of times on here we talk about like the hip hop is about like moments that you remember. Like moments you remember in your life or whatever. So mine is not a verse, it's a hook. And it's because I remember being super hyped when I heard this song and I heard him on the hook. My cousin's like, yo, Tribe, they coming back out. First single, it's a war tour. And I seen him on the hook and I lost my shit. I ain't gonna even. I don't know. I don't even know why I was so hyped. It just, I don't know. I was just hyped. Like, you know what I'm saying? New Tribe album, Dave on the hook, the award tour hook, man. Like, it just was. I don't know. It just was perfect to me, and that it sticks out to me because I remember when I first heard it, when I first saw the video, all that, like the memories of it. Like, that's kind of like what we miss now. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of sad when you think about it, but the memories. And I remember being super hyped when I heard we on a world tour with my man. Like, I was done, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't necessarily a hook, necessarily a verse. It was that hook, and I just remember being hyped when that shit came out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's a testament to how dope Dave is to give you a hook, you know, that people still remember to this day. Every MC can't give you a hook, you know what I mean? No. Especially on somebody else's song, you know what I mean? Right. So it just fit hand in hand with that. So it's
with the perfect voice, for that.
Yeah, his voice, man. That's
perfect voice, man.
Right. Eddie, what you got up next, bro?
Oh man, y'all taking everything, man. And I ain't even gonna try to recite this or whatever, man. But I just want to say I love his verse on IMIB. I just love how he delivers it. I love his flow, everything, man. I'm not gonna attempt it. I'm not gonna embarrass myself.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead, cause do it for Dave. You talking about he came in the pluck? I don't even know what he said. Yeah. That's ill, bro.
Yeah, I can't recite that, man. But you know, just props on him for that, no doubt.
All right, JR, what you got up?
I just got a line what he did on Peace Posture, and what he said when he was like, "We bring the peace, of course, but pack a 9 inside my daylight drawers." Like, he let it go. Like, yo, y'all think we banging beats, but we still got the hammer in our shit. Like, don't think we soft. Like,
yep,
like,
that was real.
Like, and I think that line, like, when I like, even when me and my pops heard that line, we was like, yo. And he was letting you know right then and there, like, yo, we not soft. Y'all thinking we bringing the heat all the time. Like, nah, don't catch us slipping. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I like that line.
All right, dope. Next joint I got up is his verse on the business. I speak divine and God theories, no need to be high. Always exhale the fact because I don't inhale lies. Play the greater man game to bounce off my losses so I can earn the acres, the houses, the horses. Of course, it's much greater than your Benz or your Lex. The engine to my comprehension is just too complex. Much too complex. Affects me live like dies, making moves down south to avoid the chaos. And never flaunt the coin because Dom getters get gazing. They call me Luther Van. They say my style is so amazing. I'm phasing those who supposed to have the last laughter because even after that, I'm reappearing in the after. In respect of real money makers, do not connect us with those champagne sipping money fakers. Taste a quarter pound with the spice from Chi-Town or with the proof. You're so full you can't even move because I'm the D.O.B. That was my shit,
bruh. He's just be bouncing on the track, man. Just bouncing.
Yeah, he was smooth. He was smooth with it.
Yeah. Burn, what you got up?
All right, I'm gonna go with the Future, and this is like an epitaph in a sense. He said, "Never ring chasing, the permanent tat. In this rap ish, y'all are just temporary lick-ons, fading in the days to come, while the name they lie and the legacy built lives on." Rest in peace, Dave, man. I mean, that's he said so much right there.
Yeah, definitely. What you got, Gnu?
I made reference to it earlier in the show, man. But his verse on his verse on Past the Plugs, man. His verse on Past the Plugs. Here's the daisy, Washington Darcy. Native is the milk like balance is the shoe. Paul makes a meal like dill. It makes pickles. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man. Yeah,
that verse, man. That's a head full of dreads, but knowledge inside. He said radio works it. Public consumes it. Tommy Boy wants another say no. Like, ho.
Right.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
So we can go all night, man.
But all night, brother.
What it does, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Salute that king, man.
Bro, what you got, bro?
Yo, so I had the business too. I was literally waiting to spit that whole verse, but
all right.
But how he started that joint off, like, I speak divine of God theories, no need to be high. I always exhale facts because I don't inhale a lot. Like, yo, and that song, like, it sticks out because a lot of people, because of Common verse was so crazy. But I feel like he started that shit off just perfect. You know how hard it is to start off. Like, that's an art. Starting off a song like that, you know what I'm saying? So that was my pick. And then I wanted to shout out another thing about De La. And you talked about the cartoon. De La got their own dunks, their own Nike dunks that were like, Gnu, you got.
Bruh. There they go.
There they go. You know what I'm saying? Get them.
Hey,
if you try to post now, you paying a bag. You paying a bag for them. Like, you paying some bread for them, John.
My brother found these in the outlet in Florida, man. These shits was like $50 in the outlet in like 2016, bro. I said, bro, send me a pair up here, man.
Bro, man, I wish I'd known you then. Hey, Real, go back to your lyric that you just said.
Yes.
I always exhale truth because I don't inhale lie. That's a double entendre for your
right. Exactly.
Because you thinking inhale lie, but also lie L-I-E. Yeah. Vern. You there.
He's a small dude, man.
You there. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there.
That's dope. Eddie, what you got up next, bro?
So I think I'm gonna tap out on the verses, but I also want to shout out something about Dave and Della that maybe not a lot of people know. Like, you know, and they had these albums like I think Kill mentioned that Clearwater. What was that? Clearwater joint. Right. They had another mixtape. I forgot the name of it, but they had a joint. The what?
It was called Mission Impossible or something.
The Mission Impossible. Yeah, they had a couple, but they had a joint, and I guarantee very few people have heard of this. It was called "R.U.N." Nike Plus Original Run, and at the time, that was when I was first started getting into my running, like training for marathons and stuff. And I was using the Nike Plus, and I was like, "Yo, they got a joint on there, man." And it was dope. It was dope, and it was like, had that theme to it, like to kind of help you get through your workout or whatnot. So I think that was really dope.
All right, no doubt. JR, you got another joint?
Yeah, I'm tapped. Y'all took
good. So I got about 4 more to
see now. Go ahead. Now Vern done inherited 8 verses because niggas tapped out. Gnu, you touched on this earlier, ego tripping. Yep, big trucker man rolling in town. How you do? I got joints to make you jump because I'm heading eastbound, tired of the merry-go-round and around, and everybody talking about all stuff's funny, but they still telling lies to me. I got the trees in the backyard. It's hard for them to tell lies for me. And who's the foot? I'm the foot. Who's stepping? Ain't no. You know what I'm stepping? Skits to the back because I'm slick like that. I'm the greatest MC in the world. You gotta give me mine because I'm heavy when I weigh it. Watch the way I say it. Ego trip. I changed my pitch up, smacked my bitch up, but never did it. The flavor being but the brothers ain't getting it. Get it? Or else you're a goner. When I roll over, you're gonna want to land because it's Chattanooga champ. Taking the train. Now, the piece that I wanted to touch on, Gnu, that you had talked about earlier is the ego tripping part 2 when he says, I smacked my bitch up. That was a line that Kool Keith said and Give the Drummer Some. One of my favorite albums ever, Critical Beatdown. So that was his play off of ego tripping Ultramagnetics for their ego tripping. That's why he said I never did it. So when he's saying, switch my pitch up, smack my bitch up, I never did it. That was a Kool Keith line. So that's kind of like the follow up to that. Vern, you want to do 8 verses for us before we go?
I got about 5 more. Yeah, 5 more. So, Big Brother Beat, I'm making memos on the demos back in '89. Took you all on encounters of an unknown kind. Did the hustle with a couple of us, but soon noticed that my niggas butted Benedict Rose and then they voted. I wrote it in the dark so I could feel it like Braille. The Big Brother Beat got locked with no bail. Came to set it like equators and embed it with heat. Yo, most def, how'd that radiate? Yeah, messed it up. He said, bright. But you going more, you want to keep going down the line?
No, I mean, Gnu, I think everybody else, if Gnu, Rel got one more. So, Rel, what you got?
Let's go with this, man. May I cut this dance?
Yes.
So, as the chosen one to speak, let me lay my hands across yours and aim a kiss upon your cheek. The name's Plug 2. And from the soul, I bring you the daisy of your choice. May it be filled with pleasure principle in the circumference of my voice. Yeah. Other things I reckon with lost them all like homework is. This time the magic number is 2 because it takes 2, not 3, to seduce. My destiny of love is brought to an apex. Sex is a mere molecule. And the world of love that I have for you is true.
It's true.
That's all I know.
I had that. Yep.
Talking that talk, man. Talking that talk, man. Like, for real, that was.
Yep.
Yeah. Bro, and that's 1989, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Yo, Kill.
It's a small thing.
I got a joint because I haven't heard no one mention this. And actually, when DJ Rec One was doing his set, I mentioned this. He was like, "Ego Tripping Part 3." Like, y'all heard that joint?
No, I know Ego Tripping Part 3.
Ego Tripping. So I heard it just this was like in the file sharing era, right? Back in the file sharing era, when you know I was trying to download as much music as I could, and I came across this joint, and you know I dug the Ego Tripping, right? And unless you had the 12-inch, you would have known it was like a B-side on the 12-inch, Ego Tripping Part 3. But yo, that joint is dope, man.
Wow.
Like totally different beat. Just very, you get very eccentric De La. Like, so some of what Trugoy says on here, he said, I got 17 kids who speak to peak rhythms, and they all know I didn't come to make sense. I heard Mikey Rose bust licks like, hey, Ma, what's for dinner? Spit cuts like a winner. Malibu down because they can't see the standard eye clown. Bundles and bags are sniffing like dragons out and dragons out and dragons out. Like, this shit is silly, but it's still dope. Like, it's just a dope joint. Like, it's very true to the original, but they taking it somewhere else, man. It's real dope. So if y'all get to find that joint, definitely do.
Yeah.
Ego Tripping Part 3.
All right, Vern, what you got up for your next 22?
I got 3 or 4. So, talking about setting off a song. Hello, it's the soul, trooping in with the Jungle Patrol, and this one's about the Jungle Patrol, and this one's about the KOs, the knockouts, that who I'll call my buddy. Hold up, just set it off with that smoothness, man, and then ending the song. Now you got the method. What to do when you doubt the depth that I predict and tune in. It's a shame when you denied the claim that you stole my words of fame from Potholes. And these are 2 of my all-time favorite De La songs, the last 2, because of the maturity and how they hit home. So, Trouble in the Water, if you haven't heard that, please, please, please. It's produced by DJ Honda. Man, it's beautiful.
Oh,
but,
no, I heard that.
Yeah, so he started off, and this is like the story of me moving to Atlanta. It was a big deal moving my big wheel to LI. Had a backyard, though ish moved slow. Called a cat on the humble. What's up, kid? Got me memorizing flicks of the wild things we did. We was brick wall niggas, 6 small niggas, son, they knew it, and wasn't nobody running through it. Like, that's my crew when I moved here. We wasn't no gangsters or whatever, but niggas wasn't running through us. And then this last one is very lengthy, but I think just the same way, you remember when we talked about Heavy D and on the end of Blue Funk, he was like, you know, when I'm over, when I'm done, you know, niggas gonna say Heavy D was rough in his day. So this is long, so please bear with me. But on Trying People, another beautiful song by De La. He said, am I just another loss in the pack? We horse shack is, you know, laugh it off. The years just blow by. My eyes stay focused, but the picture's my eyes stay trying, but my picture's still out of focus. I cry a lot, but I don't admit it. Enjoying life, but you know I've been through it. Sometimes I just wish that I could go back. No bills, no kids, just getting towed back. I want a wife. I love women. How could I front like I don't be in love with them? A little man that I can teach. A little sand, but not the beach. I figure excess will only bring an excessive amount of fuss. So when I'm gone, make sure the headstone reads, he did it for us. And then he said, I cherish warm thoughts like a gray goose and float soft kisses to my baby. And it says, yo, ain't that Dave's little girl? Yeah, respect her for that. She gonna be somebody instead of somebody's baby mama. I mean, he's like exposing his soul and telling y'all how he feels about his baby girl, man. So that's it, bro. I ain't Joe to see no more.
He always spoke about his daughter.
Yeah, that's dope. So
that hold on, that Trouble in the Water, that was a good pull, man. That was on a DJ Honda joint. Because wasn't Traveling Man from Most Def on that album too?
I'm not sure about that. I got on a De La mixtape, so I'm not sure.
I think it was. That album was alright. My bad, but
no, that's dope. That's dope. So prayerfully, everybody is walking away tonight, learning something about De La Soul and why we love him so much. You know what I'm saying? Walking away with understanding why so many people were hurt with the passing of Dave. And maybe it's one of those situations where I know like it kind of was with me with Gangstar. I'm a producer, Primo's like my guru, so it's like, I didn't even mean to say guru like Gangstar like that, but he was the one who I looked up to. So whenever I heard Gangstar, I heard Primo first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. You know, and it wasn't until Guru passed away that I listened to Gangstar and I really started to hear what Guru was saying, just because I was so entranced by the beat, because I was always trying to figure out how he did that, how I could emulate that or whatever like that. So, you know, prayerfully now, you know, people can kind of spend some time with De La's music, especially now it'll be streaming soon, and really zone in on what Dave is saying, you know, and almost do this for a lot of those MCs. So go back and peek the show we did about MCs and groups standing in the shadows of other people, you know, because I don't want it to be that you don't hear what Pooh was saying until Pooh dies, because everybody loves Fonte. You know, like, let's not just do this when somebody dies. Like, you know, let's pay attention. Let's give Big Boy his flowers. This man done dropped 3 great solo albums, and all people want to talk about where Dre, where 3000. It's like, you know, let's not wait till he dies to be like, oh man, I didn't realize how nice Big Boy was. Like, yo, he was killing. Like I challenge y'all to take that time to listen to these people. I know everybody in the group, everybody has a favorite. You know what I mean? But I just challenge y'all to listen to the other people in the group too, because I'm sure they're pretty dope too, if not just as dope as your favorite. So, you know, I feel like De La were these hippies, and then out of nowhere, just like Pasta News became this lyrical juggernaut. Like, I don't even know when this shit happened. It's just one day I just woke up and everybody was like, oh my God, Pasta News is one of the greatest MCs ever. And I'm like, yeah, but what about Dave? Like, he's dope as shit too. You know what I mean? So I just challenge folk to, you know, give the other people in the group your ear just as much as you give it to your favorite, so that we're not in a situation of, oh, someone dies and now we want to listen. I've been guilty of it myself. I'm sure most of us have, but my biggest thing in life is let's not make the same mistake twice. So, you know, I'm now trying to make sure I'm giving the people who are in the shadows of somebody else, you know, the same exact love that we give them. I appreciate you brothers for celebrating De La and celebrating Dave's life for us and for the viewers. Again, when it's the 6 of us, it's it feels like we're just talking amongst ourselves, you know, but it's amazing. I'm blessed. We have so many people who support the show. So many people who watch the show. I was in Orlando this weekend. Shout out to my man Edison. We linked up and we met through him watching the show. You know what I mean? So, you know, and that's in Orlando, and I've got people in the UK, and so I can't wait to just travel more and link up with the people who support the show. So prayerfully to people watching, because I know when we get in this room, it's like just the 6 of us, but it really isn't. It's a whole lot of other people out here who watch and support us. So prayerfully you guys walked away with understanding why Dave and why De La is so dope. JR, please give them all the info, brother. Where can they get at you?
Just check me out, the R&B Reps. R&B Reps on Instagram, R&B Reps on Twitter. Yeah, our new episode is out. It'll be out there. My Black Street Another Level, which was dope. Dreams Brother Soul on Instagram, Dreams Brother Soul on Twitter.
Killing the game. Killing the game.
Eddie, where you at, good brother?
Yeah, Eddie D80 on Twitter, Freestyles on Instagram.
Rel, what's good?
Uptown Rel 215 on the gram, JBen215 on Twitter. Oh, I got a new single I'm dropping tomorrow, produced by Kill. It's called Fear. So be on the lookout for that.
What can we copy?
So I got a whole album, and I'm like 2 songs away from being done. I've been running stuff past Kill, just, you know, getting some pointers on how to make it better. So but that one, I'll have it up on on Bandcamp and for the DistroKid, all that. I'll have it up on everything. I'm gonna put it out tomorrow. You know what I mean?
When's this Rel Trust band out? When we gonna start working on that?
Okay, so listen, and JR think I'm joking. That's after I drop this. Well, we can start working on it now because I'm almost done this album. We can get it. So start sending me some.
You got to come through for these sessions.
Not for that bull. He lied.
You got to come through for this R&B. You're gonna be shocked, man. You're gonna be shocked. Guess what? Somebody said that about Fonte. Fonte was like, "Yo, I'm about to do his R&B album," and niggas.
like, bro, you not kidding? Like, for real?
I am not joking.
So again, somebody was laughing at Fonte. Like, I'm telling you, bro, you better come through. All
right.
No, listen. It's a 7-song EP. It's called Left on Red. I'm telling you, I'm not joking.
Let's fucking go. Gnu, where can they get at you, good brother?
Yo, you can find me on IG, man, at Mr. Gary Gnu. But I want to give a shout out to my niece Kennedy Garcia, man. Today is her birthday, man. February 16th. She turned 18 years old, and she also got accepted to Alabama Crimson Roll Tide, man. So for soccer, so she's real good at soccer. So I just want to give a shout out to her, man. But yeah, you can catch me on IG at Mr. Gary Gnu.
And you left out an intricate piece of this story: full scholarship.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big piece right there, bro. That says a lot. You know what I mean? That's pretty dope. Shout out to Kennedy for that, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, that network is crazy, dog. You know, when she graduated from Alabama, the network is crazy. But so, congrats to her, man.
Yeah,
but IG at V the Lone Closer on Twitter is the Chandler 10.
All right, you already know this with me, Kill889, IG, Twitter. Yo, again, appreciate y'all prayerfully, everybody. Daylight should be streaming. What is it in March?
March
3rd.
March 3rd. All right, so I think Quest was talking about how, you know, let's run these numbers up. Let's make them number 1 on iTunes.
Yeah, man.
You know, let's buy some music. Let's put some money in Dave's family's pocket and Paz and Mace and everything like that. And again, just a challenge to celebrate your peoples while they're here. Somebody asked me, on Where's Buffy? They were like, what are you going to do to celebrate hip hop in this 50th year? My answer was simple: the same shit I've been doing for the past fucking 40 years of my life. Talking about this shit every day.
That's right.
Supporting this shit, doing shows like this. So my attitude and my the way I move doesn't change because it's hip hop's birthday. I'm gonna keep doing everything I've been doing. So I say the same thing when Valentine's Day comes. It's nice. I give my wife flowers all the time. So it ain't no okay, we gotta go. The only day you get flowers once a year. Like, nah, that ain't the move. So if you love this culture, I mean, you can do some extra special shit, but I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing every day. We're gonna keep doing the shows. We're gonna keep educating folk, and that's how we're gonna celebrate hip hop's 50th out here. So, you know what I mean? I will check y'all next week, good people.
I want you to get yourself and your soul together. This man will make your liver quiver. Right about here.